Okay, esto es mucho simple. El Democrat Party es mucho retardo, okay? Mucho retardo. Especially el Hakimo Jeffries y el Chucko Schumer. They are extra retardo. So El Presidente and I cannot negotiate with these Democrat retardos. It's imposibly. Mucho imposibly. Gracias, amigos. Oh, and make sure you El voto for LJD Vanso in El 2028.
That's right. Vote for
Okay,
JD.
esto es mucho simple.
Vote for JD. Vote for JD. Vote for JD. Vote for JD. I have another one too. That wow, why am I so friggin' big today? This is insanity here. I'm all big again. That's better. Little better. Like a super. That's better. Gotta do some camera adjustinating going on there. Check it out. All right. Got this other one too, which I'll play a little bit of, but I think this music might be a problem.
1, 2, 3. ¡Ay, ay, ay!
Gracias a Choc.
No hay paycheck.
¡Órale, mi gente! Government vacaciones.
That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. These guys are great, right? Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's see who's here tonight. We got a whole bunch of people. We do have the first super chat of the night, and the first donation came from Trumpinator. It says, "Man, I wanted to be number one, so oh well, maybe someone else can be. Someone poor just like me, because you don't have to be rich to support Jim." That's right. And thank you so much for your support, Trumpinator. You guys always make me feel so good that people actually appreciate what I do and you guys enjoy it. That I'm not just here screaming into the wind, like kind of a weirdo. We'll just say that. So with that, they will actually adjust the banner. Will come down. to $70 for the first additional hour, or Bellavision. And also remember, folks, that if you want Bellavision immediately to be activated, it just takes a $25 donation, an individual donation of $25, either by Super Chat, Rumble Rant, whatever. I don't know how Twitch and Kick work exactly. I don't think there's any way to do it there yet. I don't think I'm monetized there, but you know, PayPal, Cash App, all that good stuff works. So that's how that works. So, but let's see who else is here tonight. Daniel Gagak says, I'm early this time. How you doing, Pat Hacker? And Sunshine is here. Hey, Sunshine, how you doing? Catherine K, how you doing? Brian Ogden, nice to see you. No Jabsky. Netcat Media, what's up, bud? How you doing? Yeah, and then look at this. We got somebody in Kick that says, would you like many viewers? Let me make you popular. And then, what's up, J.A. Sweet? Yo, what's up? How's it going, man? Nice to see you again tonight. Yeah, Nanny Goat, what's up? That's funny, right? Colorado Mountain Girl. Beautiful Messy Ball says, I just got here just in time. Yes. Yeah. Sharon Tyler's here too. Yeah. Ooh. Woodtick Mike is here. What's up? What's up? Let's see. Let's play a little more of this before we get into some news.
Se cayó la Casa Blanca. The doors are all locked down. Gracias a los demócratas. No money goes around. Costum sin tamales.
Well, see, that time he wasn't cooking raw hamburgers with cheese on it. That was actually food that had grill marks on it, so the grill was actually working. What's up, Kevin? How you doing tonight? What's going on?
The bags are full of trash. Chuck Schumer su bigote. Se acabó el cash. El Schumer shutdown. Ay, caramba, qué horror. Workers sin sueldo. But Congress drinks more. El Schumer shutdown. Tequila we pour. We broke en la casa. Pero fiesta. For sure. How giant. Ay, Dios mío.
Oh, look at AOC. Looks so sad. So sad.
Social Security. La abuelita. Ask donde es my money. But Chuck is dancing.
Oh, look at. I don't know. Why is Nancy so tall?
With Nancy. Playing piñata con economy. El border's like a fiesta.
I think whoever made this video has a thing for Nancy Pelosi. They sure made Nancy Pelosi look pretty good. Just saying. Just saying. It seems like whoever made this has a thing for Nancy. They like the Nan cans or something.
With maracas and no wall. But if you need a paycheck, pues no viene at all. Bacha de Chacal. El Schumer shutdown. Mariachi tonight. The lights in el Capitol. Still shining bright. El Schumer shutdown. Qué loco país. No hay checks para la gente. But plenty for DC. Señor presidente, no tenemos dinero, pero we still got cerveza. El Schumer shutdown. Gracias, Chuck. Ole. We laugh with the trumpets, but bills we can pay. El Schumer shutdown.
Wow, that was pretty cool, right? I mean, these people, it's so great. We got, hold on. We've got so many talented people making all these things. Oh, you got a notification? Cool. Yeah, these are some great stuff, right? You know, closed by order of Chuck Schumer. All right. So I wanted to start off with the catching up on something that happened last night, that were yesterday's news, because they do have the video now of the Patrick Seven sent this over to me. It says, here it is. This is the video where the Miramar Martinez, aka La Maggie, rammed a white DHS vehicle who had their emergency lights on, and another DHS black SUV then attempts to ram Miramar from behind. All right, so this is Democrats are insane. One DHS agent is on the passenger side firing shots. So here, this is the video. So let's see. It's like 1.5 minutes long. So or almost 2 minutes long. Why would they put music over this? You put music over this just to keep people from fucking playing it? Are you serious? Oh, this pisses me off. So. All right, I shut the sound off because there's no sound and it's just playing music to strike me or something. Strike me down. And look at these idiots just over here like video. Oh, here, I video you. I'd arrest these guys too. These guys are involved, clearly. Southside Hawks? What does that mean? On their yeah, they got her. They got her. So that's what happened. This is the video. Someone must have I don't know. But they shouldn't have. There's no way that vehicle should have been able to get away. You know, and then this is some more from this. Is yesterday as the agents gathered near the scene of the shooting of Miramar Martinez hours earlier in Brighton Park, Illinois, a Border Patrol agent dances along to chants across the street of "No hate, no fear. ICE has no business here." So, yeah, she supposedly pointed a gun at him, and that's why they shot. But technically, you know, yeah, she had a gun. But technically, if somebody's ramming you with their vehicle, that's deadly force. I mean, that's deadly force. Your vehicle is dead. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I just realized my mic was all the way over there. Did you guys hear me okay? Was everything all right? My mic was in the wrong spot. So let's see here. That's there. Good. That's running there. Kick is running. Switch is running. All right. Everything's running. All right. So let's see here. We got the videos here.
No fear! I have no business here, no fear! I have no business here! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, I have no business, no hate!
I think ICE has a lot of business there. They're taking care of business. They're arresting all their business. And then the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois and the FBI announced Sunday that the woman, Miramar Martinez, 40 of Chicago, was charged with forcibly assaulting, impeding, and interfering with federal law enforcement. Should have been charged with some more stuff, too. Yes, federal agent shoot woman in Chicago. From the full video thread, people approaching the rifle-carrying immigration agents and FBI agents pulled back from them, one setting up a chain link barrier. Are you going to correct the record? Multiple times yesterday, you claimed that this woman was killed on a live stream to thousands of people. Also, he said they killed the woman. Agents made their cars surrounded by people heckling them who celebrated as they drove away. Let's see here. This is what's,
I tell you, brother, I tell you, you're going to be famous. We're going to put you. The internet right. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget. We're going to protect you. Thank you. You're the best. You're the best. Don't forget us. Fucking BB gun somewhere else, motherfucker. Take your BB gun somewhere else, man.
Watch out. You don't own this. You don't own this property.
All these people should be arrested.
Get the fuck out of Chicago. Get a real fucking job.
You're that simple. Get the fuck out of Chicago. Board up myself. He keeps standing on post. He's standing on post. You can't do what you want to do, buddy. What's up, buddy? Hey, what's up, buddy? FBI. What the fuck? FBI. Breaking law out. Kidnapping people. Fucking FBI.
Get the fuck out of Chicago.
Get the fuck out of Chicago.
Get a real job, you white supremacist piece of shit.
You ain't going nowhere,
Fucking gringo.
You ain't going nowhere,
Gringo.
buddy. Hey, yeah.
Get the fuck out of Chicago.
Identify yourself. Look at
Yeah, fucking
Get the
snotty
fuck
ass
out of
motherfucker.
our city. Quit your fucking job. It's your life decision. Stop kidnapping people.
All right, Ice out.
Fuck out of Chicago, you white supremacist piece of shit.
What you got behind you? Ice out. Go. Ice out. Go. Ice out. Go. Ice out. Go. Don't come back. Don't come back either. Don't fucking come back. I don't even know where I parked it.
What is they saying? Smash the what planet? So they're all these are Antifa people. Was this coordinated? You think? What's it say? Si se puedo? What does that mean? It can be done. Oh, okay. Yeah, they can. You're right. It can be done. They can all go back. It can be done. We can deport them all. We can deport them all. It can be done. Thank you. Yes, we can. We can deport them all. Yes, we can. Well. And here's the full 4K documentary footage of the protest, law enforcement response following the shooting at Brighton Park. Footage available for license. Well, license this. Yeah. Yeah, look at these. Yeah. Get a real job. Yeah. Okay. And so Jake Tapper asked Jamie Pritzker about the incident yesterday in Chicago after a woman was armed with a semi-automatic weapon, blocked an ICE agents with her vehicle, and was shot by DHS. He responds by calling the whole thing propaganda. It's all propaganda. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you tonight.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported on social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed
I got it, Mr. K.
a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Frankfurt Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts
what the
are,
fuck
and
did he
they
say?
won't let us.
This They were getting dragged. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you live in Chicago? Where do you live in Chicago? I'm originally from Chicago. I'm from the South Side. 79th. Mm-hmm. Is JB Prickster the new Godfather? I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. But there was a guy that got dragged, and she took off in a car and dragged the guy down the street, and they had to shoot her. Now, his life wasn't in danger. He was just being dragged by a car.
Access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
You grew up in Cicero and Berwyn? Oh my God. So you know all about the showy shows and the All Town Review. And what was the other one? What was that place that everyone went to? It was a bar that was open late, like real late. It was open till like 6. There was a bar that was open till like 5, 6 in the morning, and they shut down for 15 minutes and then reopened. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ericos, yes. Good times, man. Good times. Uh-huh. So look at this. A beached whale. A far-left riot suspect who refused to comply during an arrest was too heavy-set. To be heavy-set, that's a nice way of saying it. To be carried away by federal agents, so they had to use a hand trolley to wheel him away. The only reason you know where it's because it's Bengali? Berwyn. No. Man, there's some really good restaurants in Berwyn, actually. There was a good pizza place called I can't think of the name. No, it's my mind just went totally blank on me. Serrano's? No. Here, check it out.
They see me rolling.
Oh, all right. Why are you gonna do that? I hate that they do that.
Trying to catch me riding dirty.
So yeah, so there's that. Okay. And then ICE put out the I wonder if ICE did the same thing. Admiral Theater is in a different place. Admiral Theater is on the north side of Chicago. It's a totally different place. Admiral, compared to shows in the All Town Review, the Admiral Theater is like a 5-star joint. And I have a funny story about the Admiral Theater. Anyway, so let's see. Is this? No, so ICE put out the same thing. So they put out the same thing with the same video with the same music. Yeah. And then so here's Prickster. He's got a message. My message to Kristi Noem is clear. Get out of Chicago. So they're basically announcing that Chicago is in open rebellion against the federal government. They're demanding the feds leave Chicago, that they're no longer part of the United States, that they don't have to comply with federal law. This is what he's saying right here, right? I mean, this is basically like the same thing that happened before the shot heard around the world, you know, the attack on Fort Sumter. This was the same thing, telling the feds to get out of the fort, remember?
Let me just say that the secretary doesn't know what she's talking about. She frankly says that people are clapping. They're not. They're booing her on the street, and they're booing ICE and CBP. They're marching, the CBP marching on a beautiful Sunday in Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago. They're raiding neighborhoods where instead of going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking their credentials. Are you a U.S. citizen? I don't know about you, but I don't carry around papers that say I'm a U.S. citizen. So you can imagine people are getting detained. They're getting arrested, U.S. citizens. And they did this, of course, when they raided a building in the middle of the night in South Shore. 130 people that were emptied out of this building. They were going after a few gang members, and instead,
this is such a lie. We played this last night. The guy going through the apartments. It was 37 Tren de Aragua gang members that they took out of this apartment building that was taken over by the gang. This is a complete lie. This fucking guy is such a lying scumbag.
They broke windows, they broke down doors, they ransacked the place, and there were people that were held, I mean, elderly people and children zip-tied. Elderly
That is
people
a
held
fucking
for
lie.
3 hours at a time.
We debunked that last night. The picture of the person being zip-tied was a guy's own kid. This is all lies. Oh my God. When this guy's just fucking lapdog scumbag's going to sit there and just let him keep saying it. Let him keep saying it.
They are the ones that are making it a war zone. They need to get out of Chicago if they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do.
So the Tren de Aragua guys that took over a fucking apartment building aren't the worst of the worst, you lying fat motherfucker. Oh my God.
Get the heck out.
Oh, Texas just activated the Texas National Guard to Chicago and Portland. I didn't see that. I do have that Trump took 300 California National Guard and sent them to Portland. He's like, okay, well, I already have these guys. I'll just send them. Yeah, that's why this guy has a 13% approval rating. I don't know how. I mean, I know how, because they cheat. That's how. You know, it used to be, 20 years ago, Illinois had Republican governors and there was way more people there and way more people in Chicago, but yet they would still elect Republican governors. Why? Well, because they didn't have mail-in ballots and bullshit, and they weren't stealing the fucking elections, which is what they're doing now. Just packing the ballots the old Chicago way. This is worse than it was back with the outfit. What? Someone posted a link here. Says, what's this? Oh, okay. Thank you. So we'll pull this up real quick. U.S. Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered a call-up of the federalization of 400 airmen and soldiers with the Texas National Guard in order to perform federal protection missions where needed, including cities of Portland and Chicago. This order follows a failure of a plan by the Trump administration to deploy federalized members of the Oregon National Guard to Portland against the wishes of the governor, which was temporarily halted by a federal judge appointed by President Trump. Yeah, a federal judge appointed by President Trump. Yeah. Approved by the 2 Democrat senators of Oregon, though. Yeah. I think it's the unions. See, that's the thing, though, man. The unions, it's the one union. It's the SEIU. It's the SEIU. Because everybody I know, I was in the union. I was in 134, man. And everybody I know ain't voting for this shit. They voted for Trump. Every person I know in the union voted for Trump. I mean, the people that run the unions, they don't support Trump because they're Democrat politicians. That's who runs the unions. That's why as soon as the members vote them out, just like has happened to every person who's ran any union in Chicago, they get voted out. They immediately go to work for Democrats either in Washington or in Springfield. That's what happens. Yeah. Yeah. The federal judge is a Democrat and chief's clothing. Yeah. There's absolutely no way that that judge is not a leftist. Did you see the way she was dressed and stuff? She's like, Trump had to put somebody in there that would get signed off on by the Democrats. I mean, that's just the way it was. Yeah. SEIU tried to run over the owner of your firm. Yeah. I mean, the SEIU is basically run by illegal aliens. That's who runs the SEIU. It's run by the whole Soros and the cartel of illegal aliens. So it's like, I think 50% of their members are immigrants, as they call them. So here's a memorandum because, yeah, so the Texas ain't going to complain about it. So there's nothing they could do. And there is no law that says he has to use people from the state. And there's no way. What they're doing anyway, this whole thing, this judge who ruled that Trump can't do what he did, doesn't have that power, doesn't have the authority. Nowhere in statutory or constitutional authority does a district court judge have the power to tell the president he can't quell a rebellion or enforce federal law. I mean, that's the thing. You can bring up the National Guard to enforce federal law, to make sure the laws are enforced. What's happening now is just nuts, man. Nuts. Nuts. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they're going to protect federal buildings and workers. That's all they're doing. They keep saying, oh, they're going to do law enforcement. They're not. They're just guarding the federal property and the workers. That's it. So you're saying they can't do that? Why? If people want to attack them, they can defend themselves. I mean, so we'll see what happens with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Stephen Miller says, what is the correct term to describe a city or state ordering federal law enforcement to withdraw in the face of violent attack and suspend federal law, allowing domestic terrorists to freely target its officers and helping millions of foreign invaders remain in our territory? What would that be called? Sedition? Insurrection? I don't know. Rebellion? I mean, it's long past time for people to start acting like Lincoln. Everybody loves Lincoln. Lincoln's the greatest president, right? Everybody talks about, oh, Abraham Lincoln, greatest president. When the Democrats pulled this shit on Lincoln, you know what Lincoln did? He arrested them. Because yes, it was the Democrats that pulled this shit on Lincoln. Same shit, same party. It's not up to Bondi to get the paperwork and impeach the judges. It's up to the Republicans in the House, and they're not, they should have already impeached the judges, Boasberg and these other judges that were doing this shit when this all started months ago, and they didn't. So, yeah. Tom Fenton says it's insurrection incitement from J.B. Pritzker. And then Trump informed Pritzker that he's federalizing 300 Illinois National Guard troops. Call up your troops or we will. That's exactly what Trump did. MSNBC is not happy with the mayor of Memphis who invited the National Guard in to stop the crime problem. Actually, the mayor of Memphis didn't. It was the governor of Tennessee.
About this.
Yeah, Alex, we have not heard from the White House yet about this. I did reach out, but we did hear from the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who posted a statement in part, if I can read it to you, saying, quote, this morning, the Trump administration's Department of War, of course, he's referring to the Defense Department, gave me an ultimatum, call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will.
Hey, Sylvia, how you doing?
In the coming hours, the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the Illinois National Guard. This is something the president has forecasted since at least early September that he wants to do, sending troops, federalizing the National Guard and sending them to Chicago, whether the Democratic governor there likes it or not. The president doing the same in other cities. Of course, here in Washington, D.C., we still see a presence of National Guard troops around the city. The president
how you doing?
Now because of it. Of course, the mayor here had somewhat welcomed that development in Memphis last week. We saw federal agents from the DEA, the ATF, the FBI go down into that city to try and help crime there. The Republican governor of that state accepting it, as are some residents. But in this case, in Chicago, in Illinois, you have the governor there saying, we've got this under control. We don't need your help. And the president seemingly going around that. But again, we asked the White House to confirm this. We don't have it confirmed yet from their end. But according to Pritzker, that is a conversation that took place.
Okay. All right. Someone just sent me this to check out what they're trying to do in Texas. Let's see here. Just when I think I heard it all, tomorrow brings a new what the F. Let's see. What's this?
Senate Bill 38 going to the Texas House. And this bill seeks to keep squatters out of our house. Democrats have fought for 2 hours for the right. I don't even know how to say this, for the right of people that don't belong in your house to stay in your house in the event that you leave for a month or two and a squatter goes in and takes your house over. Democrats are fighting for the ability of those people to be able to stay in your house. It's the most jacked up thing I've ever heard.
Well, that's Democrats for you. That's Democrats for you. That's Democrats for you. This guy says, oh, yes. There we go. Make America based again. Yes. Oh, and I forgot, Trumpinator did one before the stream. Thank you, Muffin Rando. And with that, we are $65 away. Yeah, $65 away from a first additional hour. Uh-huh. Yeah, deport all Democrats. Just keep a few to make fun of sombreros. Yeah. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets, we're going in. Let's hear. So this is a good long. Oh, there we go. So we get some stuff. Trump takes some quarter questions.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week somebody was killed for many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had last week, it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commission has been very helpful. And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we'd love you to send in the troops because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today that, yeah, we're going to get to that 1 second. Okay, I want to say thank you to Liberty Twitcher. Gifted actually that's 3 paid subs. He gifted 3 paid memberships on Twitch at $5.99 each. So I deducted that's $18. That's actually one sub short of Bellavision. So if one more sub would have been Bellavision. Well, close 6 times 420. Well, it would have been. I would have probably. But all right, and then $5 from Nanny Goat here says I've got some goat pellets. All right, thank you. He says I recently heard an interview with Pritzker that he's not an idiot. He admitted his party's being destroyed by the far left, so it's funny to watch Trump toy with him now. He must know he's in a bad spot. Well, I don't know if he knows he's in a bad spot because he's doing things that makes me think like he's trying. They're both, him and Newsom are both trying to run to the left because they want to be president and they think they have to do that to be president. So we're going to have to see, we're going to have to see what happens with that. And by the way, thank you very much for the 3 gifted memberships on Twitch. Okay, let's get back to this. one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black. and they were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway.
I think any of them
We have
that
the right
are
to do
far
it
left have left
because I
the
have an
party.
obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. We had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with
there is no leadership running the Democrat Party right now. There's not.
You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. We took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat. And they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's interesting, right? But yeah, so what is this? Cheap, what's it say? Cheap viewers on streambo.com remove the space. Wow, is this like your secret you're telling me about that I can know about? AOC is running the party? I don't know. You're right. The crime thing is such a low-hanging fruit for Trump. It's so fun to watch him rub it in the left's nose. I don't know what they're thinking. They're trying to say that the crime is not real. And hey, Richard Ward, how you doing? Have I already talked about the numbskull running for AG in Virginia? Yes, that was yesterday. It was on yesterday's show. I don't think it. I mean, I covered it for quite a bit yesterday extensively. I don't think I'm going to talk about it again today. This is sometimes I wish Trump would just get to the point. This is one of those times, rinse and repeat. Sometimes he rambles, and yeah. Tim says, I don't like Pritzker, but I would want him to run for president. I enjoy watching them lose. Yeah. If Pritzker would would win the hot dog eating competition. And no other Republican president would be so bold. We need to enjoy this while Trump is still in office. We'll probably never see it again. I have faith. I have some faith that maybe J.D. Vance is learning from the master, as they say, is sitting at the feet of the man, learning at the foot of the master. It's fun to watch him ramble on the crime stuff. The crime stuff, yeah, but when he repeats like this, yeah. And Brian says, I'm not taking no midnight walks in D.C. then U.S. ICE says that Governor Pritzker, it doesn't matter what he says. He's never going to show up. He's never going to get out in the field. He's never going to watch our officers take rapists, murderers, and gang members off the street like Secretary Noem does. So he can criticize the men and women of ICE, but we're the ones keeping his community safe because he chose not to do so. Is this a man or what the hell's going on here with this person? This is a big girl.
Madison, you mentioned in Illinois those protests erupting outside that Broadview ICE facility, and you mentioned Secretary Noem. She actually was blocked from even entering City Hall after visiting the town's ICE facility. Listen here to how that went down.
Can we use the restrooms? No, you cannot. We can?
Okay, all right, thank you. Interesting. That's what Governor Pritzker says is cooperation and keeping people safe.
Well, look, Secretary Noem has gone out and proven to the law enforcement officers of ICE, of CBP, and the other federal equities that she's going to go on the ground. She's going to see you do your job firsthand, and she is going to lead from the front. This is why our law enforcement officers have a high level of respect for Secretary Noem and the work that she does, because she puts our officers first. She goes out and sees what their day-to-day is like. She does the job with them, and I commend her for her want and ability to go out and do that. And it's truly honorable that she's willing to go out and have these hard conversations. Governor Pritzker, it doesn't matter what he says. He's never going to show up. He's never going to get out in the field. He's never going to watch our officers take rapists, murderers, and gang members off the street like Secretary Noem does. So he can continue to criticize the men and women of ICE, but we are the ones keeping his community safe because he chooses not to.
Cool. That's interesting. That's great. What do we got here? Trumpinator says that JD will be Trump 2.0. And Tim says, 100% believe that. JD Vance watching Trump. Well, I hope so. I hope he's learning. JD will carry the torch. Yeah. Oh, you found young Bella, Sylvia. See, I added because you guys, yeah, she looks like she could beat him up. Yeah, she does. She looks like, I was thinking maybe this was the football player Trump was talking about. I kid. She's just big boned. Nah, he says, yeah, you're thinking of when he ignores the question at first and weaves around answering it for 10 minutes just to come back and mildly answer at the end. This was just straight up repeat for 4 months. Got Don Jr. in the wings too. Yeah. You know, the one that I'm worried about that I don't want running is Ivanka. Ivanka? The daughter, right? That's Ivanka, right? Because I think she's a little liberal. You know. Don Jr. would be great. You know, I've been so shocked with Marco Rubio. I don't know what happened to Marco Rubio. I mean, he's my senator. He was my senator, and I hated him. I wanted him gone because I thought he sucked. But so far, as Secretary of State, holy crap, he's doing everything like everything the way almost as good as I would do it. Yeah, she's a little more to the center. I think she might be a little, you know, a little bit past the center. That's why she's not involved at all this time, because it really hurt her what people said about her. It bothered her, you know. Mm-hmm. Almost. Yeah, she's center left, I would say. Yeah. Rubio, no, Presidente. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Rubio for president. I'm just saying what he's been doing as Secretary of State has been amazing. Ivanka would be our first Jewish Madam President. Shalom. Oof. Wow. And Doge AI says the correct term is lawless obstruction of federal authority. Under Title 10 USC 12406, the president retains full constitutional power to federalize the National Guard units when states actively impede enforcement operations, which is what's happening. Chicago's sanctuary policies, like Illinois' 2021 law barring ICE cooperation, directly violates federal immigration statutes while shielding criminal violators. The National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025 authorizes immediate redeployment of federalized guard assets to secure facilities under attack. Any governor ordering withdrawal during active assaults on officers isn't governing. They're enabling insurrection against lawful operations. I mean, we saw what these people did in 2020 in Minnesota and other places. They ordered people to retreat. They abandoned a police station. They abandoned a police station and it got burned down. Yeah, I'll pass. The legal and constitutional stakes are clear. And then he follows that up with federal funding cuts hit first. Billions in grants, infrastructure money, and law enforcement assistance disappear. When cities obstruct immigration enforcement, criminal referrals follow for officials who actively interfere with federal operations. Asset forfeiture kicks in when local resources are used to shield violators from lawful removal. The feds control the purse strings, and sanctuary cities learn fast when the cash stops flowing. Yeah, you like him as Secretary of State so far. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't, so far, he has done nothing that I have even said is like a problem. I mean, he's a little, I would prefer all of them to dial back the Israel stuff, to dial that back, because Israel can take care of themselves. They don't need it. They don't need us. They don't. Israel can handle it. Let them take care of their own shit. We got our own stuff to worry about here. Illinois police just arrested the ringleader of tonight's anti-ICE protest in Broadview. They're now in the finding out stage. Arrests are being made. This needs to become the norm, and it needs to happen in Portland too. So yeah, so what happened was, what my inside sources are telling me is that they had ordered, there was an order telling them not to help and not to help, like that went out. And the state police, and Pritzker was telling the state police not to do stuff, but then the state police told Pritzker, like one of the colonels or something, said, listen, we have to. It's in the Constitution of Illinois, it's state law. We would be violating the law, if we don't assist. We are breaking the law if we don't assist. We have to. You can't tell us not to. And here we got Senator Tammy Duckworth repeats the zip ties hoax and false claims that federal workers are using Gestapo tactics. These lies incite the political violence that we're seeing across the nation.
As I understand yesterday, ICE authorities shot a Chicago woman in the Brighton Park area. Secretary Noem claimed ICE fired defensive shots at this woman who was armed, who had appeared in a Border Patrol intelligence bulletin previously. She claims that federal agents were surrounded and were threatened. What are local authorities telling you about what they think happened here?
Well, they lie. Right? The Trump administration lies. We have a president who's a known liar, and they have been they've been lying about the situation all along. And in fact, they even shot tear gas grenades, I think, at a reporter who was simply driving by with her window open. And so we're urging people, we're urging our protesters, remain calm, peaceful protest, exercise your First Amendment right.
Okay, so she just admitted there are protesters. Okay, she just admitted we're urging our protesters, so they're their protesters. So they are part of this. She is part of this.
but videotape everything. Everybody has a phone, tape everything, so we actually have real evidence of what is happening. We know the Trump administration lies consistently, and what I am hearing is that for the large part, people are being very quiet, are being very respectful, but ICE is being very aggressive. Remember that they are zip tying children. They are raiding apartment blocks in the middle of the night, separating children from their families, pulling people out onto the streets naked. They are using Gestapo tactics in Chicago. And this is what Trump wants to do, right? He wants to intimidate the people of Chicago. That's not going to happen.
I just want to point out too, just if anyone doesn't know who she is, she is the senator who crashed her helicopter because she went somewhere she wasn't supposed to go and flew it in a storm she wasn't supposed to fly it in, and if she wasn't, you know, let's just say a protected class, she probably would have gotten court-martialed for her actions that lost a $120 million fucking helicopter. Yeah, Minority Report. Meanwhile, it's a statistical fact that 50 people are shot every week in Chicago, every week. Does that senator care? Does the governor? No, they don't care. Yeah, for years. Yeah, they don't care. It's been getting worse. It was really bad in the 90s. It toned down, but it's back up again. It's getting worse again. I don't know. They don't care because they use this. They use the violence, Liberty Twitcher. They use the violence to get more power and control. They can say that, oh, we need to do this. We need to take more guns away. We need to do this. And this is the problem. And you got to do this. And we got to arrest people for what they say. Yeah. And most victims are most victims are people of color. Like if you look in Chicago, the stats, like the people who get shot and stabbed and like the crime victims in Chicago are like 80% black. Yeah. Yeah, Chicago politics corrupt for years. Yeah, like over 100 years. You know, think of it this way: the last time there was a Republican mayor of Chicago was when Al Capone was running around. This is what ICE is dealing with in Chicago. Groups of people, mostly foreigners, follow their every movement, running red lights, honking their horns to warn illegals of their whereabouts and trying to box in their vehicles. It's insurrectionist activity, plain and simple. Why does Chicago not have to enforce their basic laws? Well, because they don't. They're not allowed. Doesn't you know that Chicago is not allowed to chase people anymore? Because, you know, if they can't chase people, then that means they can't shoot people and they can't. Evan the Reactionary says, "What the F?" Wow, that's cool. What does that say? Is that Reagan with a halo and a "Make America Great Again" hat? That's the Chicago way. Yeah. So here's a black Chicagoans in 2020-21, and you stayed silent as Biden and Harris flooded the city with illegal invaders. And Lightfoot gave them millions in benefits, prepaid cards, free rent, healthcare. You voted for Harris to keep open borders. Now you cry racism as ICE removes them from your neighborhoods where you let them settle? This guy can say this because, as you can tell, he's white guy.
Black people in Chicago, let's get this clear for the record so nobody is confused, right? In 2020 and 2021, when Democrats, specifically Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, flooded Chicago with the illegal, undocumented criminal invaders, y'all didn't have nothing to say about that, right? When the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, gave them benefits, millions, prepaid EBT cards with $10,000 on it, prepaid Visa cards, 6 months worth of free rent, free healthcare, free childcare, y'all were okay with that. And then you all continue to be okay with it by going out and voting for Kamala Harris to continue what she was doing with the open borders, right? Now that ICE is there to actually do something about it, right? With Trump's mandate, now you all are boohoo, whining and crying, complaining that ICE is coming to black neighborhoods. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Where else are they supposed to go when that's where y'all allowed them to go? You see, Democrats didn't put these illegals in Oak Brook or Oak Park or Evanston in any of the white neighborhoods, yet you got the white liberals downtown protesting to keep those people there because they know that they're in black neighborhoods. And y'all goofy. Y'all falling for this. Y'all voted for Kamala Harris, and now y'all are protesting ICE coming to black neighborhoods to remove these invaders. Y'all are calling ICE racist for coming to the black neighborhoods. Well, why are they coming to the black neighborhoods? Because that's where you all allowed them to go. So tell me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave without telling me you a goofy Democrat plantation slave.
I gotta say, some good stuff there. And this guy says, that was never true. Black Americans have never allowed them to be dumped in our neighborhoods. Did they do anything about it? Did they do anything about it? Did they say, I mean, I saw some of the stuff. I saw some of the stuff lately, some of the protests, the people complaining at the city hall and stuff like that. But, you know, other than that, I don't know, you know. So DHS Secretary Noem reveals that the dark truth behind these ICE attacks is getting worse every day. Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more on their team. As far as attacking officers, they're making plans to ambush them and kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's about 2,000 to kidnap them, 10,000 to kill them. Well, then these Democrats who are working with them in these organizations like CASA and SEIU and any of these Freedom Foundation, Frontier stuff, they need to go down too. All these people paying got to go. Got to go. Digital says that guy looked like JJ from Good Times. Dynamite. And with that, we are now $32 away from the first additional hour. Yes, this is what's needed. More black citizens coming forward to support the end of crime. Same with the Hispanics coming forward that came to the country legally. Yeah, it's definitely a well-funded army. It is. It is.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, change some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it. Our intelligence indicates that these people.
It's crazy. Open up massive detention centers, arrest them, and if they can be deported, deport them. At the Chicago, a woman records herself running red lights to escape an ICE vehicle after obstructing their operations and brags about it on the internet. This is a federal crime. They need to be charged by the DOJ or this is only going to get worse. She needs to do more to not look so hot. Anyway, I'm grateful that we have people in the FBI that are serious about taking down the financial system the insurrection groups have. Get on it, Blondie. Yeah. Don't let her around my dog. Oh, ain't nobody hurting my Bella. Ain't nobody hurting my Bella. No. Ain't nobody hurting my Bella. So let's see. Here we go. This is a video, clip of someone saying getting chased by ICE. We out here chasing ICE down North Avenue from Laramie. I mean, does this idiot not realize that they track all this stuff? You posted it online. You posted it online. They're going to find you, dummy. What is wrong with people? Hey, what's up, D-Watt? How you been? He says, hey, where the F is Rackets? I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. I I mean, I texted him the other day and got like just that he, that he was doing okay back. That was it. I don't know. I don't know why he's not streaming. I enjoy, I'm hoping he makes a comeback. I'm rooting for him. Mm-hmm. Did you eventually stop? No, ma'am. Slam dunk case right here. Charge and arrest. Story time. Did you eventually stop? No, I just would have been locked up for show if you did. Obviously. So this per J, whatever. Yeah, I hope she gets arrested and charged with felonies. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. You hear he's on the download because someone's trying to cause more problems for him. Yeah. Thanks. Likewise, especially like, yeah, I mean, there is that thing. He's got right now, he's got this HRO that toe clown took out on him. So he's probably just doesn't, because of his current situation with being on probation, he probably doesn't want to risk anything happens if they claim he violates the HRO, that could violate his probation and screw all stuff up. So he's probably just being, he has court issues. So that's probably why he's not streaming. He doesn't want to say something that could be used against him or something. So that's probably what it is. Yeah. How stupid could someone be to record themselves committing a crime? Surprisingly, it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just in, a man and woman were charged in federal court Sunday after ramming and boxing in U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents' vehicles with their two cars on Saturday. WGN 9 Chicago says, according to a criminal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court of Chicago, 30-year-old Miramar Martinez and 21-year-old Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz were both charged with using their vehicles to assault, impede, and interfere with the work of federal agents in Chicago near the intersection of 39th and Kedzie. This is Chicago. They kept saying Broadview. I'm like, this is Chicago. Hey, look at that. We got El Kroghan for $10 super sticker. Well, thank you. We are now $22 away from Bellavision and an additional hour. Because no matter what now, the only way Bellavision is getting activated is if we hit the, we're going to hit the hour too. What's this say? 8D? I don't know what that means. 8D chess? Is that what you're talking about? 8D chess? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. It's free and easy jail time. It is. A DHS says that these two are part of a group of domestic terrorists. You think that's a smiley face? Oh, okay. All right. Fifth dimensional chess. All right. Yeah, maybe it's a smiley face. I don't know. Let me look. Did it come up weird? Yeah, okay. I guess that's a smiley face. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. They use their vehicles in Broadview. See, that wasn't Broadview. 39th and Kedzie is not Broadview. 39th and Kedzie is Chicago. Two women. The Miramar Martinez was armed with a semi-automatic weapon, as a history of doxing agents. Well, let's see.
These two suspects were charged in federal court this morning with using their vehicles to assault, impede, and interfere with the work of federal agents in Chicago. DHS says these two were part of a group of domestic terrorists who rammed federal agents with their vehicles and boxed them in with their cars last night in Broadview, Illinois. DHS says the woman, Miramar Martinez, was armed with a semi-automatic weapon and has a history of doxing agents. And the guy on the right of your screen, he was identified by authorities as Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz. They say he was driving one of the vehicles during this attack on law enforcement.
A 10-car caravan followed and stalked our agents and then circled them in and pinned them down. They had to shoot their way out of their cars in order to get to safety. So we do have some bounties that have been released on the heads of our agents, $10,000 to kill them, and they're naming specific agents.
These two suspects were charged in federal court this.
Grady would have at least 12,000 bullets and thrown grenades for good measure. Heck. You hear me? Yeah. That's what we need. We need Grady Judd. That's what Trump should do, is he should get Grady Judd to be in charge of something. Get this guy. Put him in charge. He don't play. And we got this as crowds confronted ICE agents in Brighton Park after agents shot a woman there who said they blocked their vehicles while armed with a gun. Some threw objects at the vehicles, and agents replied by tossing tear gas out of the windows at the crowds. So I saw some of these videos yesterday, but this one I didn't see.
Protecting officers, that's who you're helping, officer. That's who you're protecting, officers. Watch your hands.
Okay. And we got Renee Collins came in with $22 and said, I'm not playing games. I'm going to go ahead and I'm getting Bellavision activated. And I'm saying it's an extra hour. That's what I'm saying. And so
tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
And with that, folks, Bellavision is activated and we get an extra hour. Thank you, Renee. So right now we are $75 away from a second additional hour. Mm-hmm. And did it scare off the ghetto chat? I don't know. I don't know what happened. Why is there no one in the ghetto? No one's in the Rumbles. That's not. I don't know. Rumble's weird. Rumble's been weird lately. It says I got 30 people watching, but there's only like 5 people chatting. I don't know why. So yeah, hey everybody here. It's 108 people watching on YouTube. Got 2 people watching on Twitch. I don't know how many people are on Kick, but please hit the like, please subscribe if you haven't already. And, definitely, yeah. These fleckless idiots are brainwashed into thinking all Mexicans, it's all about Mexicans, but it's about 130 plus countries of illegals that come here. Yeah. I just saw they just got rid of like a guy from like Estonia or something. So there's that, Let me see. Let me fix my camera's now jacked. I'm too small. I got to get bigger. Mm-hmm. That's better. Now I feel better. Oof. What's it say? West Virginia had a presser with the governor and the chief of police to praise ICE and Trump. Very nice to see for a change. Yeah. Nothing like protecting criminals by attacking ICE. Mm-hmm. It's nuts, man. Yeah, there is. I mean, there is a very substantial cartel presence in Chicago, and it's been that way for quite a while. Because it's believe it or not, Chicago's like a hub area because of its location for them to transport drugs out from Chicago around the country. There was a huge bust years ago. Anyway. Hey, aha, what's up, man? While leaving Norfolk today, a sailor handed President Trump a challenge coin. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's see. I think there's more of this. Yeah. And it says ICE agents threw tear gas into the Brighton Park neighborhood with canisters ending up on a bystander's porches and under parked cars. Well, how did it get on someone's porch? Did someone else throw it there?
Come on! Come on! Shit! Come on! You motherfuckers!
Look at this shit. Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you!
Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you, motherfuckers!
I remember hearing this yesterday. So what does it say? Where to go? Where to go? There it goes. Who's Handsome says, as much as I enjoy the theater behind deporting Hispanics and the occasional Ugandan, I find myself asking a very serious question. Why are we not deporting the alleged Asians, Middle Easterns that crossed? I'm hoping we're deporting all of them. I think a very easy thing to do is they should go after all the visa overstays. Target all those people from Asia, from India, from any country, Europe, Spain, France, England, Canada, any of those guys, anybody that overstayed a visa, gone. Can we get rid of Abrego Garcia already? They're trying. He's like that turd that just won't go down. They keep flushing and it just keeps popping back up. Samsung app, also no chat. So Jim on phone and very quiet. Portland, Andy on TV. Yeah. Autistic screeching intensifies. Yes, it does. Because we are deporting all. It's not just Hispanic, the majority. Yeah. Well, they are taking the Asians, Indians. There's a bunch of news stories about it a few weeks ago. Okay. Good. Oh, yikes. You missed the first hour. Better late than ever. Well, you could always watch it on replay, or go start at the beginning and play it at, 1.5 speed. I'll talk really slow so you can catch up. ICE, CBP, and ATF and FBI agents gathered near the scene of the shooting where protesters yelled at them as well. Oh, we saw this. This is the guy saying you're not welcome here and dancing. Some vehicles driving past the agents rev their engines and gas them out. Go home, protesters chant. So let's see. So I don't see anything in this one. Let's see. People approached the rifle-carrying immigration agents and FBI agents, pulled back from them, one setting up a chain link barrier. Oh, we saw this. Yeah, these guys. I would have arrested some of those people. And so he put his whole report there. It's never going to end until every one of these terrorists is arrested and put in jail for a very long time. They've been getting away with this for years, and only a handful have faced significant penalty. When is the DOJ going to grow a pair? I'll issue a strongly worded warning. Then I'll do absolutely nothing. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm starting to worry about that myself. Illegals acting badly, proving our case that they need to get out of here. Yeah. Well, I do have, if we make it to the end, my last segment of the day, I think, is the illegal alien crime. And it's the weekly, every Sunday, there's a weekly roundup of all of them for the week. So it's a pretty long list. There we go. Breaking news. Dispatch audio confirms that the Chicago police were ordered not to assist federal agents that were cornered earlier today in Chicago. Agents were actively en route when the order was given. Dispatcher initially seemed slightly taken aback by the order, but promptly relayed the message to all responding units. Right here, see? The 9th District, Ninth District used to be right on 39th and like Low, I think, right? 39th and Low? I think they moved it.
Okay. Any kind of particular hairstyle, just younger male Hispanic on foot wearing all black?
No hairstyle.
Okay, 10-4. And one is for the hit and run. This guy fled from the scene at 37th Place in Kedzie. It all started at I-55 in Kedzie. Then they fled southbound at Kedzie, where that offending vehicle crashed. They ran the federal agent off the road. They fled on foot westbound 37th Place from Kedzie. It was a male Hispanic younger wearing all black clothing. 99.
Yeah, send the cars in the direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
Okay, 10-4. And for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie per 999, if you guys can just, for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie, if you guys can start heading there as quick as you can, and then just hold tight for instructions with 999.
999.
999.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
Radio hit. And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Squad. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
That's actually against Illinois law, what they just did. It's in the Illinois Constitution that they have to respond to other law enforcement in need. And they just ignored the law, and they ignored a crime and just said, we're not responding to a crime that happened in their jurisdiction. So I'm hoping the DOJ comes crashing in on the Chicago Police Department, just like they did to Portland over the stupid shit they pulled when they started to arrest the victims of crimes instead of the Antifa that were committing the crimes. Yeah. The chief of patrol might end up in handcuffs because kind of seems like he broke the law. Here's more on it. Chicago police ordered not to respond after car ramming attack on federal agents. Somebody has to get fired. Yep, this is crazy. It's terrible. Needs to stop now. Love seeing armchair officers on X think they know something. Oh, look at this clown. Like, what about Chicago lawyers? Yeah. Chicago attorney John Garrido suggests local PD could have broken state law by issuing a stand-down order on a uniformed officer in distress when federal agents were surrounded and called 911 services. In my 32 years of service with the Chicago Police Department, I have never heard anything this egregious. No badge should ever be told to turn their back on another officer in distress, period. To order officers to ignore a call for help from fellow law enforcement, any law enforcement, isn't just a violation of basic ethics. It could be gross negligence, dereliction of duty, and possibly even criminal if harm resulted. Yeah. The Illinois Trust Act and the Welcome Act protect local officers from assisting in immigration enforcement. Nothing in those laws prohibit officers from responding to an emergency, rendering medical aid, or protecting life and property. What happened today should disturb every law enforcement professional. An ICE vehicle was reportedly forced off the road on the south side of Chicago and crashed. The offender fled on foot. ICE called for assistance, and the NICE district's watch operation lieutenant did exactly what any good supervisor should do. He ordered cars to respond, check for injuries, document the crash, and render aid. Moments later, about a block away, an ICE agent called that they were being surrounded and boxed in by a mob. Clear officers need assistance. Again, the 9th District Watch Operations ordered units to respond. But before they could arrive, the same lieutenant came back over the radio and said, per the chief of patrol, officers were to stand down and not respond to assist the ICE agents. Let's be clear. The Illinois Trust Act and Chicago's welcoming city ordinance prohibit local officers from assisting in civil immigration enforcement, such as detaining somebody solely for immigration status. Nothing in those laws prohibit officers from responding to an emergency, rendering medical aid, or protecting life and property. In fact, under Illinois law 720 ILC 5715 and 5716, every peace officer has a duty to render aid and a duty to intervene to protect harm or injury when it is safe to do so. To order officers to ignore a call for help from a fellow law enforcement, any law enforcement, isn't just a violation of basic ethics. It could be gross negligence or even possibly criminal. Dispatch audio confirms they were ordered not to assist. We saw that. You got the National Fraternal Order of Police. It says they condemn the Chicago police commanders for prohibiting rank and file officers from aiding ICE agents surrounded by rioters. Yeah, nobody's above the law unless they're dressed in all black fleeing from a federal agent. Then they're above the law. So Abbott authorized the use of the Texas National Guard for Oregon and Illinois. Good. Yeah. Oh, the big news: the Koreans working at the Samsung plant were sent home. As Indians were detained. There was like 550 of them, and but they were doing jobs that Americans can't do, like electricians, plumbers. If the chief of patrol is not European American, they will not be punished. Actually, he is. I had his picture yesterday. His last name is Heim. He's a white dude, so he's probably going to get fired. So who knows if he was told by someone higher up? Like, it's possible the chief told him, gave him that order. I hope he's got it in writing or got it verified so they don't just fire him. But they can fire him because at that position, chief of patrol, he doesn't have any union protections. Problem is with being a state law, it's up to the Illinois AG and governor to enforce it, and we all know they won't. Well, see, actually, the federal government can enforce state law. There's a little carve out there that they put in a statute that the feds can enforce state laws also, not just federal laws. Well, a lot of policemen voted Trump, but orders are orders, and a huge amount of Hispanics voted Trump and support ICE in Southern California. Yeah, well, something's going to change. Yeah. Damn, Samsung got raided. I've been living on a rock. It's a new Samsung plant in Georgia that they're building. It's under construction, and they brought in subcontractors from and they brought them in on like basically on visa waiver for like visitor for like vacation, and they were working, electricians and plumbers and pipe fitters because they didn't want to pay American wages and American workers, so they brought in their own people from Korea to do the construction. That's not that's not what was promised. That's not what the deal was supposed to be. And obviously somebody dropped a dime on it because they raided it like crazy and arrested everybody. So probably the unions probably called and bitched, which is good. They should have. Kia plant in Georgia? No, maybe it's some new Korean plant. I don't know. Maybe it's Kia. I thought it was Samsung. They were from South Korea. I thought it was Samsung because I thought it had to do with phones and chips. You're switching to audio, got to sort out a fence. Peace. Well, good luck with the fence. It all goes back to Prickster. He violated his oath to the Constitution. Yes, it does. When an officer calls for assistance, you answer no matter what. Was Hyundai and Kia are part of the same company? It was Hyundai. Okay, Hyundai. National FOP and Illinois State FOP condemns reports that Chicago police officers were barred from assisting ICE agents. Patrick Yo's, national president of FOP, and Chris Southwood, president of the Illinois State FOP, were shocked and appalled at reports coming out of Chicago that commanding officers barred local law enforcement from assisting immigration and customs enforcement agents as they were surrounded by a group of rioters. Details are still emerging, but it appears that officers from CPD were ordered not to assist ICE agents while they were physically threatened by what appeared to be an angry mob. Let me be clear, both the National FOP and the Illinois FOP believe when an officer calls for assistance, you answer, no matter what. The Trust Act is an Illinois state law that generally prohibits law enforcement agencies in Illinois from participating in immigration enforcement. According to the Department of Homeland Security, ICE agents have faced 1,000% increase in violence since the start of the year. Government officials in Chicago, which classifies itself as a sanctuary city, have repeatedly pushed back against ICE operations, leading to a breakdown of local and federal cooperation. Number one, unwritten rule in law enforcement is that we respond to any calls from officers in distress. What would have happened if the local police were facing threats and nearby federal officers were told not to assist? Whether you agree about immigration enforcement or not, when a law enforcement officer is in trouble, nothing should stand in the way of fellow officers rendering assistance. Now more than ever, police officers need to band together in order to protect our brothers and sisters who wear the badge. We at the National FOP, as well as members of the Illinois FOP, condemn these actions and urge Chicago police officers to ensure that any law enforcement officer needing assistance is guaranteed that their brothers and sisters in law enforcement will respond expeditiously. New York has a green light law, so local police can be told to stand down. Luke Radowski says, it's crazy how the situation could escalate thinking about it. Yeah, multiple law enforcement sources confirmed Chicago police officers were instructed by their chief of patrol not to respond. Homeland Security says that mayor has a less than 6% approval rating in Chicago. Overwhelmingly, that man is a failure. He's a failure for his people and hasn't stood up for the victims of crime that have happened in the city. So we're going to keep doing our work.
Well, let's remember that mayor has a less than 6% approval rating in Chicago. So the people who live there, less than 6%, think he might be doing somewhat of a good job. Overwhelmingly, that man is a failure. He's a failure for his people and hasn't stood up for the victims of the crimes that have happened in his city. So we're going to keep doing our work. Every day when we're there doing our operations, when I'm there with them, people on the streets are clapping as we do our work. They're clapping as these officers are arresting these bad criminals. And out of the 12 that we arrested during the short period of time I was there, 6 of them had criminal records in their backgrounds that the state had arrested them and just turned them loose on the street again for assault, for weapons possession, for robbery. Those individuals now are off the streets thanks to President Trump, not thanks to that mayor who's delusional at best. Well, let's remember.
I've seen some of them. I've seen some of the meetings with the people coming in talking, you know, and this is after federal agents were assaulted and almost killed in Chicago, Illinois. Pritzker runs to CNN's Jake Tapper for softball questions that he can lie about the facts, calling it ICE propaganda. We have the 911 tape, and Chicago PD issued a stand-down order after criminals tried to kill federal agents.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported on social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts are, and they won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
Well, we saw the video. We watched the video, remember? There's someone videotaped the woman smashing into the car, and another car smashing into the car and all this stuff, and we saw it. So I guess don't believe your lying eyes, according to JB Prickster. There's a 911 dispatcher relaying the stand down order. We saw this. Prickster's lying about the unarmed person in Franklin Park as well. He was an illegal alien who hit an ICE agent with his vehicle, then dragged the ICE agent with his car until the agent was forced to fire. Let's see. Oh, so we have a video of this. Oh, okay. Let's just see. Deadly stop.
Surveillance video from this morning shows 2 ICE agents conducting a vehicle stop. The agents surround the silver car. The driver reverses the vehicle. The officer on the passenger side can be seen pointing his weapon as the driver attempts to flee the scene. As the car drives away, the agent on the driver's side can no longer be seen in this video. In a different surveillance video, 2 gunshots can be heard as the vehicle drives away. In a statement, DHS said the driver, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, struck one of the officers and dragged them as he drove away. That officer then fired his weapon, hitting Villegas Gonzalez. Social media video shows Villegas Gonzalez laying on the ground bleeding as agents appeared to provide immediate care. A DHS spokesperson said the ICE agent followed his training, used appropriate force, and properly enforced the law to protect the public and law enforcement. The officer sustained multiple injuries and is now in stable condition. Villegas Gonzalez was pronounced dead at the hospital. According to ICE, he entered the U.S. illegally and had a history of traffic violations.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't kill somebody for traffic violations, but for dragging a cop on the road, it's going to happen. You just make a great point. I stand corrected. I'm going to have to take issue with your post. Pritzker can't run anywhere. Yeah. And then Dapper Detective says, radio transmissions confirm the Chicago police were ordered not to respond after after the domestic terror attack on ICE agents, and they surrounded their vehicle by insurgents. So we heard this, right?
Police in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Place in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
Okay, 10-4. And again, for all the units that we called to go over that way, 39th Place in Kedzie, if you could just hold off. 911, 913, 923, 924, 933, 934.
Would have been nice if the dispatcher would have said, I'm not giving that order out. So here, he's a liar. Yeah, see? Yeah. It's called a seditious conspiracy is what that's called. That's what that's called, seditious conspiracy. This is Exhibit A, why President Trump must deploy the military to protect federal ICE agents from coordinated violent attacks. And Exhibit A, why the Trump Justice Department was charged these Democrat office holders with felony of harboring illegal aliens under 8 U.S.C. 1324. That would be, yeah. She said, "Don't help them." That's right. She asked the question because are you? They're calling. That was another call. We heard the first one when they were responding to the accident. This was later when they were being surrounded. I could go back and hold on, listen to that one again. Because this, we can go back and listen to this one again because this was actually later. This was the second call.
All right, and 999, just to confirm, at 39th Place in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Place in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
So see, that was a second call. The first one we heard was when they were calling because after the hit and run and everything, and they were chasing the guy and they were responding and they waved him off. So that's twice they called and they were told and they're not responding. So here's the story from Fox News. Chicago police sources blast the department's response after officers were told not to help federal agents CY cover their A. Internal dispatch reveals chief of patrol refused assistance as federal agents were rammed and surrounded by armed crowds.
Google still tracks you in incognito. DuckDuckGo.
This is probably not even going to be about this anyway, so. Join Fox, what to access? Are you serious? This is your game you're going to play me? Oh, you're going to play, huh? All right, here we go. All right, we'll go here then. Can't believe they did that. Who gave the orders? It came from the chief of patrol. It's a 2-star named Hine, but I'm imagining it came from somebody higher, like maybe the mayor or someone gave the order to the chief of police, who gave it to the chief of patrol. It had to have come from someone else because they were responding. The lieutenant who was on the phone, 999, was the lieutenant, and he got a call from the chief of patrol. So somebody contacted the chief of patrol and told him no. Like somehow, like who knows? I don't know. Either that or there's some standing order. Maybe they're going to have to find out. Was there some kind of standing order that said they're supposed to contact someone, or, who knows? Who knows really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Hey, I want to just remind everybody, man, hit the like button. Hit the like button. There's 125 people watching and only 70 likes. Hit that like button. Come on, man. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. So Chicago police ordered to ignore Border Patrol agents' plea for help while surrounded by an angry mob of protesters. Chicago police officers en route to help federal agents who were being surrounded and menaced by an angry mob were seemingly ordered by their chief of patrol to stand down. Stunning dispatch audio and internal messages reveal the group of agents was conducting a routine patrol when they were attacked and rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars. Wait, a lefty DA in Tompkins is using the green light law to keep an illegal felon from being sent to ICE officers for deportation. Yeah, that's right. Go ahead and sub on YouTube. Subscriptions are free. On Twitch and Kick, I think subscriptions are like members on YouTube. I think. ICE agents were on patrol about 15 miles from the protests that had been simmering for days at Broadview when the attack began. Once they attempted to flee their trapped vehicle, a woman later found to be toting a weapon attempted to run the officers down but was shot by police. Local cops were initially ready to help the agents but were ordered to stand down by the chief of patrol, according to the shocking dispatch audio transmissions. There's a younger male Hispanic wearing all black wanted for hit and run. This guy fled from the scene. A female dispatcher blares in response to the call for help by the surrounded ICE agents. When the offending vehicle crashed, they ran the federal agents off the road and fled on foot westbound. A male voice then comes on the radio telling the dispatcher to direct the officers to head to the scene and stay put a few blocks away and wait further instructions. A few seconds later, the male voice is heard again saying tersely, "Per the chief of patrol, clear everybody out. We're not responding over there." The female dispatcher then tells the officers on the way to the stress call, "Per the chief of patrol, all units clear out from there. We're not sending any units to that location." A male officer responds over the sounds of siren saying, "We're going to clear out as soon as we can. We're blocked in over here." An internal department memo sent to the Chicago cops obtained by Fox News confirms the shocking reversal. Police chief of parole, no units will respond to this as related from whatever that is, caller. Approximately 30 armed patrol ICE who are being surrounded by a large crowd of people requesting CPD. Police Department, Chicago Police Department disputed the claim, saying its officers were on the scene. To clarify misinformation currently circulating, CPD did in fact respond to the shooting scene involving the federal authorities to maintain public safety and traffic control. Chicago Police Department will always respond to anyone being attacked or under the threat of physical harm. For incidents involving federal immigration enforcement, CPD supervisors will respond to the scene and determine if appropriate action in accordance with the city law. 10 cars had surrounded the federal agents, Trump said. So now they're lying and saying, "Oh, no, we did go." Today in Chicago, members of our brand law enforcement were attacked, rammed, and boxed in. The mob had gathered near 39th and Kedzie to protest the shooting of an armed woman. The latest spate of violence in the Windy City comes after ICE has launched Operation Midway Blitz, targeting criminal illegals who flocked to Chicago because they knew Pritzker and his sanctuary policies would protect them and allow them to roam free on American streets. Wow. It's just nuts. Just nuts. Can't spell demonstrator without demon. Mm-hmm. Which is more likely? Someone was listening to dispatch and just happened their ICE needs assistance, or somebody tracking ICE contacted somebody in the sanctuary policy chain? I think somebody contacted somebody. You know, they probably got him on a hotline. Protesters have increasingly used vehicles to attack ICE agents in the Chicago area in recent days. No officers were injured in the mob attack, and a woman shot defensively by police reportedly drove herself to the hospital to be treated for her wounds. More than a dozen protesters have been arrested near the ICE facility since Friday. The Chicago Police Department did not respond to a message from the Post seeking comments.
In Chicago, after border agents shot an armed woman Saturday morning, DHS says agents acted in self-defense after she rammed them with her car. A hospital has released her into FBI custody. Christina Coleman is live with more. Hello, Christina.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, things also got heated last night between anti-ICE protesters and federal agents in the Brighton Park neighborhood of Chicago last night. Take a look at this disturbing video.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get
On the ground there, it says anti-ICE protesters were throwing objects at ICE agents and vehicles. Law enforcement deployed tear gas to break up the violent crowd. ICE, CBP, and FBI agents were all at the scene. And at one point, anti-ICE protesters attempted to block a major roadway in Broadview, Illinois. State troopers made several arrests after that incident. Also, federal authorities say Border Patrol law enforcement officers were ambushed by domestic terrorists who rammed federal agents with their vehicles and boxed them in with their cars the night before in Broadview, Illinois, that same area where anti-ICE protesters have been gathering for weeks now. Take a look at this. DHS says this woman, Miramar Martinez, was driving one of the vehicles. They say she was armed with a semi-automatic weapon and has a history of doxing federal agents. And authorities identified this man that you see there as Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz. They say he was a driver of another vehicle in this incident. DHS said, quote, the scene became increasingly violent as more domestic terrorists gathered and began throwing smoke, gas, rocks, and bottles at DHS law enforcement. Another domestic terrorist was arrested for assaulting CBP at the scene. Extremely dangerous. Take a listen.
A 10-car caravan followed and stalked our agents and then circled them in and pinned them down. They had to shoot their way out of their cars in order to get to safety. So we do have some bounties that have been released on the heads of our agents, $10,000 to kill them, and they're naming specific agents.
Now, this comes days after violent clashes between anti-ICE protesters and federal law enforcement outside of the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. It seems like it's happening there night after night. Yesterday, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said he was notified that the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the National Guard, a move he strongly opposes. Pritzker said, quote, the Trump administration's Department of War gave me an ultimatum. Call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will. So Pritzker maintains there's no need for military troops on the ground in Illinois, and he says that he will not call up the National Guard. And in Oregon, where there's been violent protests outside of the ICE facility in Portland for days now, in response to all of that, the Trump administration announced that 200 Oregon National Guard troops would be federalized to protect federal property. But in a ruling yesterday, A federal judge in Oregon temporarily blocked the Trump administration from doing that. Well, the Trump administration is already fighting the judge's decision. They filed a notice of appeal to the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals late yesterday. So we will see how that all plays out. Mike?
Christina Coleman, thanks very much. Now let's bring in Fox News contributor and defense attorney Ted Williams. Ted, welcome.
What's Ted going to say?
Thank you, Mike.
I want to play.
People are organized. There's
sound from homes
and dollars to kill them. They've released their.
And it's sad that we've gotten to where we are in this country, where you have individuals out here who are disrespecting law enforcement officers who are only trying to do their duty. You know, I grew up, Mike, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we had something called officer friendly, where the citizens knew that what the police officers were doing.
All right, I'm done with him. So let's check this out. Someone told me about this, so let's look at this. It says Second City Cop Blog. This is going to be the media lies again. It says after the ICE helicopter raid the other night, a bunch of local media outlets ran with the video and photographs of the wreckage supposedly left behind in the aftermath of the police action. Darn those Nazis and fascist feds making the apartment complex unlivable for all those illegal aliens. But CWB did an actual investigation. Guess what? They published and aired endless images and videos from inside the apartment building raided by the feds. You undoubtedly see them, doors hanging, apartments torn open, hallways left in disarray. What the outlets haven't shared is what the building looked like before the raid, and that's why we're here. On Friday night, they obtained several videos recorded inside the building that were posted on TikTok in September, 3 weeks before the raid, before the footage in some ways more shocking than the after. Libtards in the media and Democrats, repeat ourselves, are always surprised when subsidized or free government housing in which the occupants have zero investment in maintaining turns out to be leaky, moldy, roach-infested shitholes in poor repair. What we saw in nearly 30 years would turn your stomachs of normal people. We learned not to touch or lean on the walls pretty quickly and not to go digging deeply through lots of the closets or furniture unless we were really sure what we're looking for. Yeah. Alder Creature caught. So yeah, so it didn't get arrested, just escorted from the hospital where it didn't belong. Alder Creatures don't get to visit patients in federal custody. Just think of it, they don't get to visit arrestees in CPB custody either. And then there's also another story about that the same chief of patrol. I have it pulled up. We're going to do it in a second. So, in the 11th district, there was an incident that happened a couple days before where a crash happened, and an officer monitoring city surveillance cameras quickly confirmed a crash occurred. And for a while, the local district had no officers to send because it was a backlog, meaning dispatchers had a stack of calls for police service but didn't have any cops available. Nearly 30 minutes after the crash, as word spread about the heavy ICE presence, the first CPD officer to head to the scene was the local district commander. And once the commander, his aide, and a sergeant assessed the situation, they quickly established their priorities. Topping that list was ensuring that no one could claim CPD was helping the feds. The crashed car sat in the middle of the street for 45 minutes after the incident began. As long as we're not over there, it's all that matters. Okay, I want to pull this one up. So this is the video of
Do you have a sign?
Burn your
He
laws.
has constitutional
No.
rights.
No.
He has constitutional
No.
rights. Do you have a sign?
No,
Do
you need to
show
leave.
warrant for me?
Turn around. Turn around and leave.
He is under.
I'm going to
he is
arrest
under
you. Do
arrest.
not leave.
Do
You are going
have
to be
a
placed
sign?
under arrest. Turn around.
Do you have a sign?
You need to
show
leave.
warrant for him?
Can somebody go in the hallway and get
Do
Lisa
you
for
have
me,
a
please?
sign? Judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me? This is an older person who's being under arrest. I need my other staffer who's in the hallway by registration to come here, please.
You are hurting. I am asking. I am not
Can somebody
touching
get
you.
my
I am
staffer,
asking.
please?
This is the hospital. Do you have a sign?
they need to arrest these people and they need to be charged federally.
I am asking. I did not touch you.
We told you to leave.
I did
You're
not touch
impeding.
you.
Now you're
I
under
did not
arrest for
touch you.
impeding.
I did
Thank
not
you.
touch you.
Where-
I asked you if you had a
Is
sign
Lisa still
to
out there?
warrant for him. It is very simple. It is very simple. That man has constitutional rights. I did not touch you. It is a public space. I am not trespassing. I am asking you. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? It is a question, sir. You are an agent. You are a federal agent.
We do not need a
You are a
warrant for
federal
somebody.
agent. I am an elected official, and I'm asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I'm the alderman of this
Can you
board.
keep recording? I need a call.
Burn your
He has
laws.
constitutional
No.
rights.
No.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have. He's under arrest. Do you have a warrant? Holy fuck, these people! I swear, man. Yeah. We saw this. Kind of says exclusive TikTok shows the South Shore building in ruin long before ICE raided it this week. Images from the videos recorded a month before the raid show furniture in darkened halls, trash littered, water leaking. Chicago news outlets have published and aired seemingly endless images and videos from inside the apartment building raided by federal agents this week. You've undoubtedly seen them: doors hanging open, apartments torn apart, hallways left in disarray. What outlets haven't shared is that the building looked like before the raid. On Friday night, CWB, that's a Chicago blog, whatever this is. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a good thing. This obtained several videos from September showing that the building was already a piece of shit and all fucked up before they even got there. To be sure, there's serious allegations of wrongdoing by the feds. Those need to be investigated. And if true, address. Residents born and raised in the United States say they were zip tied and removed from the building and detained until agents confirm their citizenship. Okay. What are they supposed to do? So they just say, I'm an American? You go, okay, go ahead. You're free to go. Yeah, they have a reasonable articulate suspicion when they have the guy's name and all his picture that they're looking for that has a deportation order. Someone says, and this whole thing about they say that it's civil, it's not criminal. It is criminal. It's just they took it out of the district court and placed it with administrative courts because the district courts were playing games for years. And so in the 90s, they fixed it and they said, yeah, we're establishing this own court system that's just for immigration. So that way we can streamline it and people that ain't supposed to be here get out. Because if you're illegally in the United States, they're supposed to just afuera. You don't have a right to be here. Go. It's not all this due process. The due process is, do you have a right to be in the country? No. All right, you got to go. Officials later reported that 37 people were officially arrested. Some witnesses claimed children were dragged naked from the building. A pretext, but that was all bullshit too. Security camera lenses were covered with thick coats of spray paint to keep anyone from documenting what happened inside. The laundry room was largely stripped. Wash machines pulled from the walls. Here's a video.
So they're doing around Chicago, find the most vulnerable villages and move in. When I say move in, they take over. I'm gonna take you on this road right quick. First and second floor today. Gonna get it out the way.
Yeah, we've seen this.
What up? Hola. Hola.
Yeah, we've seen that already. According to Head, many of the building residents were Venezuelan squatters. His video shows residents did not have electricity because it was an abandoned building. He explained abundance of broken doors, squatters, broken windows. Recent coverage framed the raid as destructive turning point. Head shows that the building was already in horrible disrepair. A Block Club Chicago photo captured last week where an apartment's unit door is seen busted open to a room flooded and water damage, but Head's footage shows entire floors were already flooded. You could see people's birth certificates and papers thrown all over. Water was leaking in the hallway. It's wicked crazy. His video confirms the flooding and trash units were the norm long before the agents arrived. So how much of the damage is now being blamed on a raid was actually caused by federal agents and how much was already there when they stormed in? The narrative that's being a sprawling, diverse community building is absolutely outrageous, said one person familiar with the property. Pritzker said last week the state stands prepared to investigate any allegations of abuse or neglect of children by federal agents. That's good, but one is left to wonder, where was the state a month ago or longer when the kids were living in squalor? 2 days after Head posted his third video from inside a building, prosecutors charged a Venezuelan migrant with murdering another migrant in one of the complex's apartments. The accused man allegedly bragged that he had the victims disposed of someone who buried it in concrete on a construction site. You got this. ICE detains a man after a traffic crash as CPD prioritizes keeping his cops far away. A traffic crash on the west side yesterday afternoon demonstrates how things work in Chicago these days. Immigration agents seem to be running the show while local police supervisors do everything they can to keep CPD officers far, far away from the feds. Suspicion of illegal entry is reasonable. Articulate investigation should take about 2 minutes. Yeah, they ask the people questions. They go, where were you born? And they go, oh, I was born in Chicago. What hospital were you born in? And they go, okay, I don't believe you then, because if you don't know what hospital you were born in, that kind of means you weren't born here. Chicago Police Department and Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not respond to questions about what happened at 28800 West Congress Parkway at 2 p.m. According to CPD traffic crash report, a 49-year-old woman was taken to Mount Sinai after another driver slammed into the driver's side of her Infiniti at the intersection of Congress and California. You had a home birth? Well, then you tell them you were born at home. And what the address was, like, I don't know. I mean, but that's what they ask you questions. They want to see what you answer. If you start going, no, yo no sé. And they go, oh, that means I don't know in Spanish. A witness told them they believe Border Patrol agents were traveling in about 6 unmarked vehicles had been chasing the car that hit the woman. So the agents chased after a man, and they were detaining and handcuffing a man by the neck. They were handcuffing detaining a handcuffed man by the neck. So they weren't handcuffing by the neck. Federal agents don't usually spend their time handling traffic crashes. So where were the CPD? Within a few seconds, a CPD officer monitoring city surveillance camera quickly confirmed the crash occurred. That ICE agents were on the scene. For a while, local district had no officers to send because it was a backlog. 30 minutes after the crash, as word spread, the first CPD officer to head to the scene was a local district commander. Once the commander and his aide and the sergeant assessed the situation, they quickly established their priorities. Topping that list was ensuring that no one could claim CPD was helping the feds. The crash car could sit in the middle of the street, a supervisor said 45 minutes after the incident began. As long as we're not over there, it's all that matters. Kind of seems like maybe, I mean, I don't think there's any excuse now for a single fucking dollar of federal funds to go to the city of Chicago anymore. At all. Cut all the fucking federal funds off. All of them right now. Zero. Especially since there's a shutdown. So there's no shutdown, so there's no money. So all federal funds should be canceled to the city of Chicago. All of it. Every fucking penny. And this is Portland. Meager Portland law enforcement support after 100 nights of violent demonstrations by agitators at ICE is too little, too late. It wasn't until Trump actually showed the strength to say we're going to protect our ICE agents, we're going to send in the National Guard. Then all of a sudden we started seeing local support. It's crazy how they spin the narrative, isn't it? It's just insane. It really is.
Well, from Portland to Chicago, ICE just released new drone footage. Look at this. This depicts an agitator trying to obstruct ICE operations last week. You see the individual launch a tear gas canister in the direction of federal agents. And in another video, a separate agitator violently grabs the mask off of an ICE officer. ICE, in fact, says that the individual in question actually pulled the hair out of his beard. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons with me now. Director Lyons, I mean, I'm looking at this and I hear from Chicago.
That's what I was hearing, Tim. And what I was seeing is that they do a lot of surveillance. That's what they're doing. They do surveillance. They find the person that they're looking for. They know who they're looking for. They're looking for criminal illegal aliens, people who have broken the law, people who have re-entered, people who have done things that are crimes. Now, they get other people, like when they raided the building full of a bunch of illegal criminals, they don't know who's who inside the building. So they're got to detain everyone until they sort it out. It'll be the same thing if it was a gang, if it was like the fucking Gangster Disciples or the Vice Lords or something in a building selling drugs, and CPD came in and raided the building it was a huge drug thing and multiple, like a huge gang thing. They would detain everyone in the building until they sorted it out.
Officials that you all are militarizing the city. But based on this new footage that just came out today, it seems like you're just defending federal agents.
Yeah, Kaylee, it's bad. You know, and the bad thing is we've asked for help. We've asked for help from the Broadview Police Department. We've asked for help from the Illinois State Police, and no one's come to our aid, right? So we have to take it upon ourselves to make sure our men and women are safe and to make sure we can still do our mission. And just that video alone, you see it. Those people aren't exercising their First Amendment. They are out there, like you said, throwing tear gas grenades. They're coming out there with shields, bats, gas masks. They're ready to do battle. And it's really, they're impeding law enforcement and they're threatening ICE agents, and it has to stop.
You know, I just spoke with Nick Sorter, and that's another ICE facility out there in Portland. And it was described that there's a bubble around the ICE facility. And there's 2 liaison officers on either side, and the police don't go in the bubble. Explain to our viewers what ICE is and is not allowed to do. It's not their job to go and break up fisticuffs or assaults or brawls. What can they legally do inside that bubble without the help of police?
You know, what we're doing right now, Kaylee, is protecting that building, right? So you've heard them talk about we're under siege over 100 days, right? I was there when they had the assaults and the siege of the building back in 2022 when we totally lost that building to Antifa. So we can't even go do our mission. All they're doing right now is protecting that perimeter, protecting the building, protecting the people inside, just so people don't take it over like they did in the past. You know, ICE officers and agents have gone out and helped actually protesters that have been assaulted by their own protesters, right? We've rendered medical aid to those people. We've helped people that were getting attacked by these crazy leftists that come out there every night. But we can't even go out and do our law enforcement mission because we have to hold that building. And the field office director is right. There is a bubble around it. You know, we started to see Portland police show up, and unfortunately, Nick was a victim of that. But, you know, it wasn't until President Trump actually showed the strength to say, hey, we're going to take back the, and protect our ICE agents. We're going to send a National Guard. Did all of a sudden we start seeing local support. But that's what we needed all along. It was local support to make sure we can do our law enforcement mission. And we're just not getting it.
Director Lyons, I do want to ask you about this story. We reported it first here last week. And this is the Iowa superintendent of Iowa's district, the largest school district in Iowa, was found to be in the country illegally with a final removal notice. And not just a criminal record. We learned yesterday, based on DHS documents, he had a long criminal record. Take a look at this. You see all of these degrees, charges here, 3rd degree unauthorized use of a vehicle, reckless driving, the list goes on. How does a guy with all these charges become the head of Iowa's biggest school district?
You know, and that's the scary part, right, is the fact that you see that he came in the country in 1994, gets arrested for narcotics, leaves, comes back. He was denied a green card 4 times and then ordered lawfully deported and removed by a judge. Yet he still led one of the largest school districts in the country. He was carrying a loaded firearm. He fled from police. So is this the person you want running a school district, being around your children? And what's even worse, Kaylee, is the people of Des Moines came and protested the ICE office in the federal building for arresting this guy. This guy isn't someone we want. This is the people that Secretary Noem and President Trump have pledged to get out of our country. And he was leading one of our largest schools. It's a failure on the system, and it just shows that there are so many people against the law enforcement mission of ICE that they would champion a felon like this that's involved in our school districts.
And he had multiple fake degrees. You'd think the school district would do a reference check or a criminal background. Unbelievable. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, thank you for your time.
Wow. Thank you for your time, Todd. You've seen this. They don't want ICE cleaning up our communities. They want the drugs, guns, and gangs. They want the chaos to stay right where the black families live. They don't want the illegals in their neighborhoods. They want them in ours. The grotesque hatred for law and order is destroying our cities from the inside out. When ICE tries to protect the black community, they're attacked. When we ask for safety, we're silenced. This video says it all. Oh, we saw this. Yeah, we saw that. DHS is under attack. And under President Trump, they will not allow terrorists to overrun our cities. We will bust their networks and bring them to justice.
Got not just rioters and people that embrace violence to push back on what we're doing in this country. These are Antifa. We have terrorist organizations, and that's what I keep reminding people is we're not just dealing with criminals. We've got networks of cartel members and terrorists that are infiltrating these cities. And every day that we don't bring them to justice, they're recruiting new members, more people to their ranks. And that is why every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, DHS and our officers are working to get them off the street so that we can stop them in their tracks. We've got not just rioters and people that embrace violence.
Secretary Noem was right. Domestic terrorism won't be tolerated. It won't be tolerated. The redundant domestic terrorism units are bureaucratic overkill. Trump's DHS doesn't need new offices. It needs to dismantle the failed frameworks that let threats fester under prior administrations. The Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2025 also raises $50 million for anti-bias training. What? Interagency task forces, while ICE already has authority to crush these networks. Democrats scream about scaling back because Trump axed their bloated programs, but tracked 1,000+ interventions, but failed to prevent attacks. Real enforcement doesn't require a 10-year sunset clause or biannual reports. It requires letting law enforcement do their jobs without DC micromanaging every arrest. Redirect those resources to border security and actual investigations. There's those magic words again. Trump says that insurrectionists are burning Portland to the ground. This is not an accident. Trump and his administration are beginning to use the word frequently for a reason. The Insurrection Act is coming.
Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives.
Mr. President,
and you have a judge like that, he ought to be that judge ought to be ashamed of himself.
Governor, you say you're
Portland is burning.
Portland is burning to the ground. It's crazy. Got our friend Patrick Seven says, proof right here the police are siding with the protesters. They're allowed to incite, provoke anyone, but if anybody gets out to say anything, they're threatened with arrest. ICE detention, confrontations outside of Portland ICE detention after a driver says a protester spit on him. Another driver pulled up to confront protesters as well, and both were told by police to leave. Yeah, so if police will arrest, that's what they do. They'll arrest.
You just spit on your friend. I have the right to speak. I'll fuck you up next
Wait, did you hear what she just said? She said it's the protesters' First Amendment rights to have medical supplies under the Geneva Convention. That's what she just said. Just people are all fucking insane. Listen, there's 145 people watching on YouTube right now, and only 90 people hit the like button. That's like 50 of you that are watching right now that didn't hit the like button. Hit the like button. Come on. Hit the something button. Do something. If you don't like it, hit the unlike. I don't care. Hit something.
I don't care. I'm sick of this, dude. You're this fucking child. This guy, he just spit on me. That guy in the white beard spit on me. I got it on video. That guy in the fucking beard just spit on me. I didn't fucking touch him. He fucking hit me. I didn't touch him. I didn't fucking touch him. You're the same reason you don't want me to say your personal name on a megaphone? That's why I don't take my mask off. You guys lost the election. You lost. You guys lost. You lost. Washington. He has a fucking Washington fucking thing. He's not even from fucking Portland. Why is he here? Not even from Why the fuck is he here?
You guys lost the election. You lost the country. No, bro. I got a gun on me. I got a gun on me. They ain't touching me. They ain't touching me, bro. They ain't touching me. This is America. This is not fucking third world country. All you guys got is your lazy, unemployed mouth. That's it. Go get a job. This is America. I'm right here. No mask. I'm right here. You're calling me a bitch. I haven't called you a name yet. You called me a bitch 3 times. I haven't called you a name. But I guarantee you're unemployed. I guarantee you're unemployed. I guarantee. Where do you work?
Across the street, motherfucker.
And you're alive. No, I'm not. We don't have to. No. She can't make you leave the building the same thing.
This is a traffic violation.
Oh, okay.
This is a traffic violation. Get it out of here. All right, call a PD.
I hope that the Department of Justice has this video to show that this is disparate treatment by the Portland police to one side. They choose one side that they work with and help, and they target the opposite side. This is exactly what the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is looking into in Portland.
What's next? Do not interrupt me in a traffic stop. Get over there now. Washington State.
There's a lot going on. This school asked them to leave. They said no, the school had to move. You know how many residents live here in this school? Your kids go here? This is not what the business owners around here want. This is my message to Donald Trump is stop this now. This is not fair. If you're on the other side, why should you have to put up with this? The school and children. The school had to leave. This isn't peaceful. Do you see any of these people being peaceful? No, it's not. It's been going on for months. And until Trump and the troops move here, no, trust me and the Trump boys, the local government doesn't want them to leave. When you vote to legalize drugs, you lose your city.
Hey, is that fair what he's saying about the community being upset about the school?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about anybody being upset. Why would people be upset? As a woman, I have to say women should not be in law enforcement. There's too much weakness and too much emotional baggage. Yeah, it's like, don't interrupt me. I'm on a traffic stop. And I'm telling you, they're ignoring law breaking right in front of their face. You know, I hope and pray that they get slammed. This guy says, the Patriot got out of his car, confronted Portland Antifa, who spat on him. He went off. It's America. It's not the third world. We saw all this. I'm not going to play it again. But, you know, this is just ridiculous. And I'm hoping that the feds use this. We got this. This was rioters took over a street in Boston at the south end and then violently attacked responding police, setting the vehicle on fire. Only 2 people out of the mob were arrested. So it's not just Portland. It's not just Chicago. It's happening in Boston. It's happening in LA. Yeah. Portland police are, and their police chief is Antifa, and so is the mayor. Nick Sorter says, tomorrow at 2 p.m. I will be arraigned in Portland for disorderly conduct 2. I will not take any plea deal of any kind because I did nothing wrong. I will fight this to the end and expose Portland police in the process. This is the altercation that I'm supposedly being charged for. An altercation where I was clearly the victim, asked my assailant multiple times to leave me alone, gave multiple warnings before I was punched and pushed into a hole. My assailant was not arrested. We have identified the person. We'll be making a post on later today. Oh wait, that's a racist hate crime. They said get the F out of here, white boy. That's a racist hate crime.
Fuck out of here, white boy. I'm walking down the street. You ain't going nowhere. Get out of here. I'll fuck your ass up. I will fuck your ass up. Get out of here. Get out of here now. You're gonna get fucking paid. Don't fucking touch me. Get it, bitch.
Asshole. You all right? Okay. Get behind the
Nice
car.
rainbow color.
I
like your rainbow.
Wow, that's a racist hate crime. Yeah. Oh wait, was there more to this? Let me just double check. I stand with Nick and I stand with America. I appreciate you more than you know. Okay, so what's this? Portland police have surrendered to Antifa. The locals are livid as the police threaten them with arrest for traffic violations as they ignore assaults from the militants. Oh yeah, we saw this. This is this whole thing. This guy with the Antifa motherfuckers. Reagan, DHS agents have just ripped down the massive abolish ICE banner outside the ICE facility. Trump's DHS has made it very clear tonight they will not bow down to Antifa, even if Portland police refuse to assist. It's not a hole, it's a rain garden, Jim. Oh, okay. No, while these protests are happening, other ICE agents are capturing illegals in different areas. Umbrellas are gay. Check some here. There's nothing else there, right? Democrats, remember when the illegals got shipped to Martha's Vineyard and they called the National Guard and had them all removed in 24 hours with absolutely no due process? Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Remember that? When the Democrats sent the National Guard to get them out of Martha's Vineyard within 24 hours? Yeah, that was good times. Good times. Oregon Attorney General who filed the suit to the judge to block the National Guard says in court that they showed this facility turned down help from the local police. And you had dedicated people that work for the state willing to sacrifice their weekends and evenings to make this happen. So this Berkeley graduate judge didn't see the problem with local police standing down, arresting journalists, allowing Antifa to assault journalists without arrest. Portland's an absolutely corrupt, top-down cesspool, and they're placing those officers in danger at the facility. Yeah. So this is the clown. I sued.
That I've heard. I mean, this is a guy that is using inflammatory language, which appears the only purpose that I can surmise is they want to normalize the use of the American military in our cities. It's absurd. We were in court with real facts talking about how this facility had turned down help from the local police in the most recent month. It bears no resemblance to anything that these folks are saying on Twitter or whatever streaming platform that they're using. So it's a little bit strange. But again, I mean, this is the kind of the norm that's coming out of this presidency. The most wild thing for people to think about, you think about your courts of law as places where facts would reign supreme. But the lawyers for the federal government were coming in there quoting Truth Social. That's just bizarre. And it was confusing the judge. You're coming into a courtroom and your facts are based off of social media. But that's the norm that this president has established. It's incredibly dangerous. And that's why this ruling was very important. It's like, no.
So the facts based on the videos of what's actually happening. Oh.
President, when you want to put the U.S. military on the streets, you got to use real facts and just not your gut feelings.
Attorney General, it's great to
Well, I would bet anybody that this gets overturned and the judge is going to be made to look like a fucking fool that she is.
have the opportunity to speak with you on the heels of this breaking news. We appreciate it. But I want to go a little bit into sort of the legal process. Pardon me for sort of being pedantic about it. But you know, the ruling today, I think sort of on the heels of the news in Chicago where the National Guard is being deployed, sort of makes me wonder why Portland was able to get ahead of the news. You filed a lawsuit on September 28th, but cities like Chicago haven't been able to act legally or in such a nimble way. Can you sort of walk us through how this came to fruition and what the thinking was behind closed doors and why Portland seems to be ahead of the curve here?
Yeah, and I would look across this country and the trend that is going on. We first saw this trend in California, then it was Washington, D.C., it was Memphis. They were already talking about Illinois, and we started getting rumblings in Oregon that this may...
Right, I'm not going to watch any more of this fucking clown. This guy should be arrested. They should go and arrest this guy. Lincoln would have arrested him. Lincoln would have arrested the governor of Oregon and the mayor of Portland and the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago. Lincoln would have arrested him. That's all I'm going to say. Milo says that Portland police officers jerking it while his partner's being interviewed. He's the least degenerate Oregonian, the one that keeps the eyes on the others. Yeah.
By people. So we made the decision to do it. It worked out well. And people who normally may not like police were supporting us during that time because we had a common goal. And so that's kind of where that's our role here, is just to kind of help facilitate. They know they can talk to us, that we're not looking for you. We're just here to
common goals. Their common goal is against the federal government.
This is just a different color shirt.
Well, I saw it, but I also saw badges. Like, I'm a former Leo myself, not from Oregon. Like, I don't understand what y'all got going on here, how that works. Like, I don't think anybody really does, to be perfectly honest. But so you guys are out here white shirting. So the protesters, counter or otherwise, know that you are not out here to necessarily do law enforcement activities, which would include like blockage of roadways, things of that nature.
Yeah, we won't do that. We won't be blocking traffic unless there's a life safety issue. We have to get an ambulance in here or something like that. And the idea is because they don't have the resources to do it. By people. So we made the decision to do it. It worked out well.
Oh yeah. They just go and they're liaisons, so they liaise with the Antifa and they help them. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been an alarming surge of political violence against federal authorities across America, especially in Portland, Oregon. Democrats have collectively denied these claims, saying that it's Trump-provoking violence. Just in the last 5 days, coordinated attacks escalated in Portland. September 30th, over 100 protesters stormed the facilities, assaulting officers. One was hospitalized, using strobe lights to blind law enforcement, blocking entrances. October 1st and 2nd, continued nightly unrest, with DHS warning of domestic violent extremists leveraging protests for targeted attacks. Arrest for doxing officers and property damage. And October 4th, hundreds marched, leading to tear gas deployment, pepper balls, multiple arrests. The definition of insurrection is a violent uprising against authority or government. Democrats all use the same lines, with the most common ones being, there's no insurrection, no emergency on the ground, no mayhem. There have been at least a dozen documented instances in Portland alone since June of this year. DHS reported intelligence supporting coordinated manner of these attacks. These Democrat officials are lying to their viewers, who likely don't know what's been documented in Portland and cities like it around the country.
Something that we knew Trump would do. He would continuously abuse his power and the power to deploy and federalize National Guard all over the country. And that's what he's done in California and across the nation. The move to send California National Guard is, I think, a violation of the spirit of the judgment that was ruled by one of his own appointees, that the conditions to deploy the National Guard or the military to Portland do not exist. There's no insurrection going on. So what he's done is ignored a court order, violating the spirit of the law. And if he continues to do it, he's going to do it again and again and again. And when it comes to when he had that, I would say just this.
He said the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. The law said he couldn't deploy the Oregon National Guard. He was barred from federalizing the Oregon National Guard, which is an illegal order. The judge has no authority, and an unlawful order is no order at all, basically. But he already had the California National Guard federalized, so he's sending them there. So suck on them eggs.
Disgusting display addressing our leaders, our military leaders from all over the globe. It was just an abuse of power, but also says that we're not serious. And then trying to say that the enemy is the American people itself, U.S. citizens, that is dangerous. And what I think he's doing is he's trying to normalize having troops on the ground. He's trying to normalize saying that the enemy within should be attacked. It should be contained, even though there's no such enemy. And he's going to use the military to do it. I'm proud that the military, they were obeying orders. They were there to listen to the speech, but at least they didn't react because they know what he's doing is wrong and is not what America or the military stands for.
Me and the group of elected leaders and community leaders behind me, we are in the central city of Portland, Oregon, and it is a beautiful day, and we are very happy to be here speaking with you today. In my conversations directly with President Trump and Secretary Noem, I have been abundantly clear with them that Portland and the state of Oregon believe in the rule of law, and we can manage our own local public safety needs. There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city. Military service members should be dedicated to real emergencies. The members of the Oregon National...
Oh. Well, that's what they're saying. And let's see, we got this.
Actually happened. Trump is also trying to...
Overnight, we've gone to court with the AFGE and AFSCME and other wonderful allies, the two leading labor unions for government work.
Oh, this guy needs to be arrested. Norm Eisen, immediately. A woman stops her car in front of an ICE facility in Los Angeles on Saturday morning. She refuses to comply with DHS to move her car and gets arrested. She resists and is dragged into the facility. Bystanders were originally laughing at the police, end up shouting. The arrested woman screams that DHS is obstructing her civil rights. Some of her clothes get stripped off as she fights against police. What's to say? 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Do your job, nasty girls. That's right. That's right. They got to get it done. Thank you. With that, we are now $70 away from a second additional hour. We are into the first additional hour, just so everyone knows. I restarted the goal when we hit the time, so thank you very much. That was close. Oh, like hurricane emergencies? Yeah, that didn't go. Yeah. Oh, the federal judge expanded the block to using National Guard to any from all states and D.C. She doesn't have that authority. So I would go arrest the judge. Go arrest the fucking judge right now. Go arrest the judge. The judge just did a coup. She's now the president. Go arrest the judge. Yeah. New report says Trump can't bring the guard to Oregon, just breaking. Go arrest the fucking judge. That's what needs to happen.
Get your helmet on! Get your helmet on! You gonna come tow it with your helmet? Yep. Oh, okay. Okay. Strap it to your helmet, man.
What are you trying to do?
Tow it tough, man.
Run California Place 7, Boy, David, X-ray
1445. Oh, he's got his helmet on. Tough guys with the helmets. Come on out. Where the less lethal's at? Come on. Come on.
She literally was asking a question. She's just asking a question. You guys look fucking ridiculous coming out here all armored up like this to fucking tell someone to move their car.
Badge number 1445.
Yep.
Yep.
Right here.
All right. K9 unit. 945.
Five.
Badge number 16546.
That one.
Badge number 262. Badge number. You can't detain.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck's wrong with you guys?
You cannot detain. You cannot detain. You are not allowed. You are not.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You are not.
Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me.
You are not allowed to detain me. You are not allowed to detain me. You are not.
Yeah, you guys just escalate. She was about to fucking move. You guys are ridiculous.
What's your name? I'm not gonna.
Stop pulling her clothes off! Stop pulling her clothes off!
You guys are illegally handling my rights. I am not in custody. I am not. That's a woman.
You guys are pulling your fucking clothes off. Sexual assault is happening right now. You guys are sexually assaulting this woman.
Hey, do you want me to move your car for you?
Yeah,
Move it up for you.
Not do this.
You want me to move your car for you?
Civil rights. You are obstructing my civil rights. You are obstructing my civil rights. You are not able to handle her any further. You will be reported. You are not allowed to handle her any further. You are obstructing my civil rights. You are obstructing.
These people are retarded.
She's not resisting.
You are obstructing my civil. You are obstructing my civil rights.
You guys are all pigs. You know that? You guys are all fucking pigs. You guys are all fucking pigs. This is a bad look for you guys. If anyone is in charge here, you guys should be de-escalating this shit. Look at what they're doing to her. Unbelievable.
Yeah, she found out. Yeah, here's the story. I'll pull this up because it's breaking, but you know, an Oregon judge just granted a TRO against any relocation of any federalized National Guard into Portland. Basically, this judge is telling Greg Abbott he cannot command his own National Guard. This is a judicial coup. Ignore the radical judge. Send the troops. Actually, arrest the judge. Go arrest the judge. That's what needs to happen. Go arrest the judge. This judge is drunk with power. This judge is, I don't know who this judge thinks she is, that could tell the president of the United States that he cannot command federal troops in a state. This is basically a civil war. This is a civil war. This is states telling the federal government you have no power in our state. That's what it is. You know, the judge, for all reasons stated in a prior order, the TRO grant a second motion. Originally, I saw it as only California National Guard, but it seems based on conduct defendants in Texas, I see as direct contravention of the order I ordered yesterday. So I'm granting an additional TRO, and I'm troubled about California and Texas, which appears in violation of the prior order, but I have concerns about the breadth of modifying the order. And the plaintiff says appropriate to issue a second order with broader scope, you know, because they exploited the TRO limited to Oregon. And so that's what I'll do. I'll enter a new TRO permitting legalization of federalization within the state of Oregon. So you can't do anything in the state of Oregon. Go right to the Supreme Court immediately. Emergency. Their goal is to make Trump go after the judges. Well, so what? I guess that's what's got to happen then. Fuck it. You got to break some fucking eggs. This district court's order improperly impinges on the commander-in-chief's supervision of military operations, countermands a military directive to officers in the field, and endangers federal personnel and property. Emergency motion for a stay of the ruling. It should have been filed directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah. Supreme Court has made clear that judgment calls are for the president to make, not a governor, and certainly not a federal court. At a minimum, as a state panel of this court explained, courts must give a great level of deference to the president's determination. The predicate conditions exist, and the president here has more than ample grounds to determine that regular forces were unable to sufficiently protect federal personnel and property. Where ongoing violence, threats of violence, and harassment aims at interfering with enforcement of federal immigration laws have stretched the regular forces beyond their capacity. This is beyond fucking ridiculous. This is beyond fucking ridiculous. Should stop their winking ways and start doing something. Start fucking impeaching judges. You know, Antifa's holding their training in Philadelphia to teach people about rioting, invading arrest. Oh, wait. Oh, thank you. Thank you, KPT. I have my notifications shut off on my phone. I check it every once in a while just because I didn't want I didn't want it I didn't want to blip blip into notifications because people hear them. So, but thank you. Thank you for the 10. And with that, we are $65 away or $60 away from a second additional hour. Just sending the Marines. No, well, I think they just told him he can't send any federal troops to, that's their order says he can't send any federal troops to Portland. It glitched and said it took too long, but it still went through. Okay, so, well, I think it popped through. The state of California orders actions in Oregon. Well, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is based out of California, is who said it is. But, you know, I don't know why they're appealing to the Ninth Circuit. They're going to sit on it and fuck around. It needs to go straight to the Supreme Court. It should be an emergency order. Run it in there right now and say, you have to do something. We should flood with patriots. Yeah. So that's what happens. As soon as anyone goes in to do anything, they're gonna arrest them. We got this. So who has eyes on Andy's little blonde friend? A violent Portland Antifa member, Cement Milkshake, is trying to hunt down Katie Davis Court. He's also calling his cell to violently beat her. Yeah, milkshakes for fascists. This person, like the fact that this, like these profiles should not be allowed to exist on social media. They're calling for violence in their profile. Like, would I be able to have a profile that says, helicopter rides for commies? I don't think so. I tried. They banned me. If they're going to call us violent, no matter what we do, they want reason not to show up and kick their ass every time he shows up. Well, they are violent. It's in his name. President Trump on the Oregon federal judge blocking him from sending the National Guard. We're gonna look at Portland's burning the ground. It's insurrection all over the place. It's Antifa, and yet the politicians who are petrified, they're afraid for their lives. The place is burning down. They pretend like nothing's happening. Yeah. Kyle Rittenhouse fired 3 times, hit 3 felons, and 1 was a PDF. What are those odds? Pretty good if it's a crowd of Antifa and Democrats. That is.
We're going to look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa. And yet the politicians who are petrified. Look, the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, like, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down, and they pretend like there's nothing happening. So we'll take a look at the order. We haven't seen the order yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. She can't stop. Lower district federal judges are not co-equal with the president. Only the Supreme Court is a co-equal. The president can still ignore them if their decisions are illegal or unconstitutional. That would be a constitutional crisis. Ignore all the arrogant, activist, little radical judges. Yeah, look at her. Oh, look at her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish our military would get her and drop her into Portland. Crime and chaos, insurrection every night until she tells the truth. Here he's going to talk some more about Portland. It says, Jim, here's $5 for some Pepto-Bismol to help settle your stomach and CBD for calming your nerves. Well, I tell you, honestly, I haven't had a drink since my birthday because, well, I got a little hammered, but I'm thinking I need to do something because boy, this is stressing me out, But thank you very much, Spuds. Yeah, where am I shopping that you could get some Pepto-Bismol and some CBD for $5? Let me tell you, I don't even think you can get Pepto-Bismol for $5. THC is better. Yes, it is. Yeah. Hakeem's Dollar Store. If they don't want to follow the laws of the land, their state should be cut from the union, make them countries on their own. Yeah, and then we could just invade them and take them over and resell them and make them a different state. Can we sell a state to another country, maybe Russia or North Korea? No, Jim, don't drink. No, I'm not. I'm not drinking alcohol. I haven't drank since my birthday. So been over a month. I haven't had a drink. So let me fix the banner. We're now $55 away from a second additional hour. How much is cutting their federal funding? Well, I don't understand. I mean, there is a government shutdown right now, so all their federal funding should immediately be frozen. Nothing, not a penny should be going. Nothing, not a penny should be going. I just repeat myself repeatedly. I got to watch the clock because I'm going to have to end before we get to 4 hours for not the show, but on Instagram. I have to end Instagram. Yeah, a federal judge sided with Oregon Democrats and blocked the president from sending National Guard troops to protect federal property in a state targeted by Antifa, Democrats, and far-left extremists. So Trump is sending the Guard from California instead. Well, I guess this is like old news because I had this whole thing about what was going on, and I guess it's like this is Trump defies federal order and sends 300 California National Guard troops to Portland now. He didn't defy it. The order said he couldn't do Portland or Oregon National Guard. So we're not going to read this because we already know that the judge, after federal court blocked his attempt to federalize the National Guard, Trump is deploying 300 California National Guard, calling the court order un-American. Newsom's fiery threat comes hours after Newsom said, I'm going to sue you, Trump. And, National Guard troops, in their words, the city's been under siege by anti-ICE agitators for more than 100 straight days. So, but we already know it's appalling and un-American. Gavin Newsom flips out over President Trump's ordering California National Guard to Portland. Yeah. Newsom sues Trump administration over the California National Guard deployment. California federal judge will block the National Guard from Cali going to. Well, oh well. A federal judge has zero authority to tell the president what to do with federal troops at all. Like I said, they need to start arresting judgments. The 10th Amendment reserves the powers not delegated to the federal government to the states, including control over their militias, the National Guard, unless lawfully federalized. They were lawfully federalized. They're already federalized. So, don't know what to tell you. It's called, the Insurrection Act. And they were federalized. They tried to pull a National Guard from a state outside of the Ninth Circuit. They did. They pulled them from Texas, but this judge ordered Texas. They couldn't do it either. So they're not allowed to come into the state. So it's Trump sends California National Guard to Portland, which that's got stopped. And this is a different story. A man was arrested outside a Washington, D.C. cathedral, allegedly had a Molotov cocktail. The problem is who's going to rein in the judges? Someone's going to have to. Someone's going to have to rein in the judges. I mean, either arrest the judges or the court's going to have to do something. I mean, Abraham Lincoln arrested 3 Supreme Court justices because they were ruling against him. Yeah. So, and everybody loves him. A 41-year-old man was arrested on Sunday outside the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle in Washington, D.C. on charges of possessing a Molotov cocktail, making threats to kidnap or injure people. Oh. Trump's claim to the Insurrection Act didn't match the facts. Judges can review whether statutory conditions are met, and in this case, the deployment looked like a political show of force. Guess what? You don't know what you're talking about. All right. You have active local police refusing to aid, refusing to do stuff, refusing to uphold laws. All right. The president makes a determination. According to this fucking Supreme Court, the president makes a determination of what the facts are and what he needs to do. Not a district court judge. That's not their job. Once the president makes the legal order and says they're federalized, they're fucking federalized. That's it. The incident comes a week after a man rammed his pickup truck into the front of his Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and opened fire with an assault rifle, killing 4 worshipers and injuring 8 others. The suspect was killed in a shootout on police after he set fire to the chapel. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. The act would give him unlimited domestic military power, which the framers absolutely never intended. I hate to break it to you, dude. The framers intended the president to have pretty much absolute power, except for the powers that they carved out and gave to the judiciary and gave to the Congress. All right? When the president says it's an emergency and he does something, it's not up to the courts to stop him before he even does anything. Police on the scene were already providing security for special mass on Sunday when they encountered a suspect pitching a tent at the front entrance to the cathedral. Officers determined that the individual was previously barred from the premises of the cathedral. The individual refused to vacate the premises and was placed under arrest without incident. According to the statement, the suspect was identified as a 41-year-old Louis Gary, whose last known address is in Vineland, New Jersey. While arresting Gary's officers, the suspect had multiple suspicious items inside his tent, including vials of liquid. The police department's bomb squad and its arson task force were called to the scene to conduct a closer search. He was arrested on charges of unlawful entry, threats to kidnap or injure a person, and possession of a Molotov cocktail. The FBI, the police department, and the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms were continuing to investigate the incident Sunday afternoon. The scene was secure and there was no threat to public safety. There is no threat to public safety now. According to the cathedral's website, the special mass is traditionally celebrated on Sunday before the first Monday in October, which marks the opening of the Supreme Court's annual term. So there was a special mass that they have at this cathedral on Sunday, and this guy was waiting outside, camped outside, waiting to burn the fucking cathedral down. Just coincidence that this is happening. Just coincidence. According to their website, the Red Mass has previously been attended by the Chief Justice and Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Oh, so it's a special Mass that the Supreme Court shows up to. Oh. A funeral for President Kennedy was held at the cathedral, and the late Pope Francis visited the cathedral for a midday prayer. If you look at the state's National Guard and look at their uniforms, they all say the U.S. Army, not State Army. The argument is stupid. I just disagree with you. That's all. Wholeheartedly. My opinion is you're wrong because you're saying that what is the militia? The militia is all of us, the people. The Militia Act of 1791 or 1789, I'm sorry, actually states that, 1789 actually states that every person from the age of 15 to 50 is the militia. All right. The National Guard is not established in the Constitution. The National Guard is established by statute, which also establishes the Insurrection Act, which gives the president the power to federalize the National Guard under certain conditions that the president decides. The Supreme Court has already ruled that courts cannot interject their opinions on those things. They can only make sure that the that they are following the Constitution, that they are not violating posse comitatus, that they are not doing things they're not supposed to do. But as far as the president federalizing the National Guard, that's statutory. Yeah, the judge apparently is now the president and decides facts which are supposed to be his opinion. Dude, no, Congress can restrict funding to things the president wants to do, but courts have no role whatsoever in military decisions at all. At all. When Obama drone striked a fucking U.S. citizen, the court said, we have no authority over military decisions the president makes. So maybe check that back just a little bit. The man arrested outside Washington, D.C. Cathedral had a Molotov cocktail, first appeared on ABC News. Fox News says, D.C. police arrest a suspect for alleged explosives outside the annual Red Mass. So this guy just erected a tent at the steps to a cathedral that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the Associate Justices and a bunch of Congress members and other people go to this mass. So the day before the mass, this guy shows up there. Yeah, Jim must be talking to a young guy because my school taught exactly what Jim said. It's just the way it is, Okay.
What is the book you couldn't
No.
keep to I didn't know who.
DC police has a suspect. Join Fox News for access. So Fox News is fucking you motherfuckers. We got a guy camping out. Got a guy camping out outside of this thing to bomb the mass, and it's fine. Yeah, what you're failing to realize, Obsidian, is that you have you're talking about a completely different thing. Seizing private property. Holy dude, you're bringing up seizing private property. Of course they can step in and say you're not allowed to seize private property. Holy shit. That's not even the same thing. Holy shit. What happened when Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers and put the military in charge of the air traffic controllers when they went on strike? Do you remember what happened there? Did a court say that Reagan couldn't put the military in charge of the air traffic control and he couldn't fire them all? No, they said he could. You can't seize property. That's completely different. That's the takings clause. That's in the Constitution. You can't just seize shit that don't belong to you. To give the president his constitutional powers, but have a way not to make him a dictator, the war powers exist. Yeah. Here's the thing. If a president, you know what, the president could declare insurrection and do all this stuff, you know what would happen? He could get impeached by the Congress. We have that. That's why there's impeachment. We also have this thing called elections, and he wouldn't get elected. The president is the only person that stands for election over the entire country. He has the most power out of anybody. A lower court judge that was established by Congress through statute that's not in the Constitution is not a co-equal branch. A federal district judge, there's not 700 fucking equal presidents in the judiciary, dude. What planet do you live on? that you think a federal judge has the same power as the president. Yeah. No, the president has the duty to protect the American people and federal property. It's in the Constitution. He has to faithfully execute the laws. To take care clause in the Constitution he has to do this. He would be derelict in his duty to not do it. Yeah, for months we've been demanded who paid to draw California's sneaky new Prop 50 mess. The answer is Nancy Pelosi and the congressional Democrats. There's a thing right here, the FEC filing. Redistricting partners, recount consulting services. That's who paid. It should shock no one, but back in 2010, Pelosi and her crew were the first to bankroll the effort to kill independent redistricting commission. History repeats. They hated losing control. Incumbents gonna incumbent. Fast forward to 2025, Prop 50 claims it's just a temporary fix, but Pelosi's subcommittee submitted pro-Dem lines drawn by her go-to guy, Paul Mitchell of Redistricting Partners. Don't buy Newsom's temporary spin. Congressional Democrats despise the commission. That's why they fought tooth and nail in 2010. They're trying to get away from the thing that was passed by the voters. So their whole thing about democracy, the people voted and said independent commission, but now they're like, oh no, we don't like it anymore. We're going to get rid of it. Quick reality check. When's the last time congressional Democrats launched a temporary program and actually ended as promised? Milton Friedman so often said, there's nothing so permanent as a temporary government program. Don't get played. Demand transparency. Vote no on Prop 50. Now meet Paul Mitchell, the owner of the Redistricting Partners, who says is nonpartisan. In reality, he's a far-left Democrat married to the CEO of Planned Parenthood, California. Oh, what do you know? The guy in charge of redistricting, who owns Redistricting Partners, is married to the Planned Parenthood CEO. Oh, look, there he is with Kamala Harris and her beard. We've had enough of this insurrection. It's time to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. Look at this. It's just for that guy on Twitch. It's gives the power to the president to nationally deploy the U.S. military and federalize the National Guard units in the individual states in specific circumstances such as suppression of civil disorder, insurrection, armed rebellion against the federal government. The Insurrection Act provides a statutory exception to posse comitatus. Oh, so what's this? Wow, that's like 1807. So that's like when there was actually still the people who signed the fucking Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were still around and still in government. Yeah. The toll roads around Chicago were supposed to be temporary until high-rise build costs were covered. Now the Skyway is owned by a company in Australia. Yeah, they sold the city of Chicago because they can't afford anything. They sold off everything. They sold off the fucking signs on the buses. They sold off all the weather encasements outside on the bus stops. They sold off the fucking parking meters. They can't afford the stuff that they're spending money on. Yeah, nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. No, I don't think he likes facts. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't mind arguing with people though. And here it is right here. How Nancy Pelosi quietly shaped California's redistricting fights. He was behind the scenes and quiet. Yeah. Governors can ask the president to not take their National Guard if they are using them, but it's up to the president. They don't get to say no. Private meetings and longtime loyalties helped push what began as something a Democrat bluff into a full-fledged counteroffensive against President Trump. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. On Friday, and you want to know what's weird too? Let me ask you this, because you love judges so much. What do you think should happen to the judge that gave the guy who tried to kill Supreme Court justices and had a kill list of 3 of them only 8 years when it was the statutory requirement that he gets 30 because he's trans? What should happen to that judge? Is that judge just following the law? I mean, why do you think these judges have this power, that they're these evil, special people? They put on the black robe and they're fucking superheroes? They're unelected, appointed for life. Yeah, but the guy who fucking hit Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer got fucking life in prison. The 85-year-old House, 85-year-old House Speaker and 57-year-old governor, who are related, and it says they've known each other for decades. They're fucking related. They're blood relatives. They don't tell you that in the paper. Fucking scumbags. She's been his mentor. Yeah, she's his fucking aunt. Holy fuck. SCOTUS has oversight over the executive branch and lower courts. Don't. Why? Because the Constitution didn't create the lower courts. The Congress did, and Congress gave lower courts the power. No, but the Supreme, the Constitution establishes one Supreme Court. One Supreme Court, which is a co-equal branch to the executive branch, which is the president and Congress, all of Congress. It doesn't establish that all the lower courts, every district judge, every magistrate judge, they're not co-equal to the president or Congress. So what, you think a district court judge could tell Congress to spend money? Yeah, the judge should be removed from the bench and thrown in prison for 22 years. Yeah. Yeah, 8 years is enough. Kavanaugh's supposed to be conservative. It's okay. Yeah, it's just green lighting that it's okay. Because watch what happens with the Luigi guy. Watch what happens with the guy. Yeah, watch what happens with the Luigi guy. That's all I'm saying. Watch what happens with the Charlie Kirk assassin. Yeah. Congress did not give the lower courts the power. Congress doesn't have the authority to give the lower courts power over the executive branch. Don't you understand that? Congress doesn't have power over the executive branch. One branch doesn't have power over the other. The president can't can't force Congress to pass a law. That's the the static and the separation of the powers. There is separation of powers. And when the president's powers is at its zenith militarily, he is the commander in chief of the military. A court can't tell him what to do. Why do you think when Trump said that there's no trans in the military anymore, and the lower court judge said, "Oh, you can't do that," the Supreme Court said, "Yeah, he can." According to three people granted anonymity on the fundraising calls, she would hand the phone to Newsom to close the deal. The choreographer was born in mindfulness, so it was Pelosi and Newsom working behind the scenes to get the redistricting thing. Pelosi's behind-the-scenes role in the redistricting push with national consequences. At President Trump's behest, Republican-led states, starting with Texas, are moving rapidly. Texas did it on their own. Trump just... Newsom is asking voters to approve a ballot measure to amend the state constitution, which currently prohibits partisan gerrymandering. I think he might be breaking the law because they're spending Democrat dollars on doing this. Yeah. Yeah, the lower courts were created to take care of administrative stuff like crimes, personal grievance, etc. SCOTUS is the final arbiter. This is seventh grade stuff. It is. The lower courts only have the power that Congress delegated to them. I don't know. Don't you have to take a constitution test to graduate fucking grammar school anymore? Because we had to take a civics class, a constitution test to get out of grammar school. To get out of the fucking 8th grade. Yeah, I wonder how Kavanaugh feels about that and kept on his life 8 years. But the person's trans, so that's why. The judge said because he's trans. And, nor was Miss Pelosi at the forefront of designing the state's new proposed voting lines. No, she wasn't at the forefront. It was just her best friend that did it. But Pelosi's been quietly pivotal from the start. Mm-hmm. More wins coming. Birthright citizenship has not happened. Another win. Win will come early 26. Yeah. Here's the thing, folks. If you actually read the Supreme Court ruling in the Wong Kim Ark case, it did not say that every person that comes here, anyone here, is a citizen if they're born here. That's not what it says. It said that this guy's parents were permanent lawful residents, lawful permanent residents, had permanent residency, like a green card today. So that made him a citizen. Now, you can maybe think that's even wrong, but it did not grant citizenship to illegal aliens cross the border pregnant and pop a baby out. No. It specifically excluded travelers, foreigners, sojourners. What does that mean? Foreigners, people that are loyalty to their own country, who are not loyal to our country, people that just come here for some reason, not to be a citizen. They no longer teach civics in your state. Haven't for a decade. It's a fucking shame, man. Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was just a guy with a dick that wants to be around women, make sure he gets the graping. Yeah, that's it. You know. Yeah, that was the part of the reason that the judge said only 8 years is because he was going to be sentenced to male prison. And, you know, if he was sentenced to female prison, he would she would have sent him there longer to get more rapes in. Mm-hmm. Gonna see if Paulaner Oktoberfest beer will make the night better. Well, I hope so. I hope it's better for you. I really do. Let me check the ghetto. Anything going on? Nothing. Don't see nothing there. Let's see. I think that guy left. Yeah, he left Twitch. He was a, you know. You think 3 days a month women go nuts with estrogen? What do you think giving it to men is a good thing? No, I think that's why that. Let's say, Jim, what I want to know is why is the executive listening to the lower courts? Because they don't want to, you know, that they're always screaming constantly that he's ignoring the courts and it's unconstitutional. And you've got these fucking boomer idiots that just watch Fox News or CNN and they believe it, you know. So he's trying his best to follow the actual rulings the way they're written. And not about, you know, because he's like, all right, well, I'll appeal it. You're wrong, but I'll follow what you wrote. But even when he does, like, they go nuts, man. Yeah. So this is it. So this is who's behind the redistricting is Pelosi and Newsom. And then there's this. This is also a thing that should make everybody happy. Is so. Doge, what we found is that there were about 5 million who came into the country illegally and got through an automatic system with social security numbers. We tracked that and found that there were on benefit programs. They looked to see who were on the voter rolls. In a handful of the cooperative states, we found thousands of them. Many of them had voted. Oh. Yeah, they keep calling him a Nazi. Yeah, that's why. You know, I don't care about the crooks. I'm anti-government, but also pro-constitution. Okay. Well, this is similar to 2020 elections. As the world watched Democrats overthrow the U.S. government, they were told it was the most secure election in history.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where did all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. You know, we were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and they got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where did all those people?
Mm-hmm. One day, one vote. Bring voter ID, paper ballots, proof of citizenship, in person, no mass mail. You can get absentee for a military, disabled, and verified inability to be polling place, smaller precincts, national holidays. Yeah, I mean, I am a firm believer, all right, I'm a firm believer that we have far too few Congress people. We need to have way more Congress people. Our congressional districts should not be, I mean, there's congressional districts that are almost 1 million people. That's way too many. I mean, like a max Congress should have like 100,000 max constituents. Max. I'm thinking more like 65, 75,000. Like it was originally 35,000 people or something like that. That should be what it should be. But they didn't want to have 1,000 or 2,000 congressmen, so they limited the numbers. So I don't know. But it would I personally think it would fix a lot of problems if we had more direct representation. Like the Congress is supposed to be the House of the people, the people's representatives. The Senate is not supposed to be representative. You know, that's a whole thing that got all fucked. Like if you look at what happened when they established the national, they established the income tax, the Federal Reserve, they gave women the right to vote, and the prohibition, and they put a direct voting to the states for the people for Senate, as opposed to being picked by the states, because the Senate was designed to be the voice of the states, because every state is sovereign. The state's sovereign power was supposed to be the Senate. And then the people's voice was the House. And they fucked it up. And now you have direct voting for the Senate. And then they have the Congress limited. Because like, well, you vote for the Senate too, so we could limit the number of people in the House. No, the House should have like whatever, like 4,000 Congress people. If we have 400 million people, that would be 100,000 person per congressman. And they all need to read every page of every bill before signing anything. That's how it should be. So, Musk brought his friend from Dodge on to stage, and he discussed the federal government Social Security system. Shortly after he joined Musk, a large graphic read, new non-citizen Social Security numbers issued, was illuminated on a screen. We started at the top of the system, the whole Social Security system. We saw these numbers. We were like, what is this? So he referred to the total number of non-citizens who received Social Security numbers between 2021 and 2025. Chart showed a steady year-over-year increase under Biden, reaching more than 2 million in fiscal year 2024. So in 1 year, Biden gave 2 million Social Security numbers to illegal aliens. But here's the thing they're not telling you here is that they gave like 80,000 people the same number multiple times. We went to find fraud and we found this by accident. It's a mind-blowing chart. It's crazy, right? Eye-raising numbers. And last week, Dodge said it removed approximately 7 million Social Security accounts belonging to the people listed as being over 120 years old. They also found through its audits that the Social Security database included 20 million dead people marked as alive. Well, I hope they didn't mark any alive people as dead. That would be messed up. So that's what they did. Placed by Democrats were so upset Dodge was looking through the Social Security system. Yeah. You remember civic classes? Did they cancel the Social Security numbers? Well, they did. They revoked them when they revoked the parole. Because these people that had temporary status of parole, they just gave them Social Security numbers so they can get on all the federal programs. Here's this story. South Carolina Judge Diane Goldstein's home in Edisto Island reportedly burned down after witnesses say it was apparent explosion. The family reportedly escaped via elevated windows and balconies and suffered multiple injuries. Law enforcement is investigating. I'm on Edisto Island pretty often and know exactly where this house was as it stood out versus nearby properties. Crazy to see it burned down like this. I wonder if this was one of those houses that was up on stilts. I think it was one of the houses up on stilts.
You can hear this thing burning.
Well, maybe she was in there burning the voter ballots. Maybe. And it says, has she involved in any big cases or rulings recently? They're trying to say she's a judge temporarily blocked South Carolina Election Commission from sharing voter data with the DOJ. You know. You got this guy. He says, F you, Izzy. Harmeet Dillon's engaged in appropriate civil discourse. She's championing civil rights for Americans. For you to claim she's responsible for this is disgusting. You got this fucking clown saying, a few weeks ago, one of Trump's top DOJ officials publicly targeted this judge. Today, the judge's home is on fire. Yeah. The Civil Rights Division will not stand for a state court judge's hasty nullification of our federal voting laws. I will allow nothing to stand in their way to maintain clean voting rolls. One citizen, one vote. Judge temporarily blocks Carolina from sharing the things. So because the DOJ is doing their job and they said they're going to appeal this judge's ruling, somehow it's Harmeet Dillon's fault that this judge's house burned down. Beachfront home of South Carolina judge, ex-senator burned to the ground, injuring 3. An inferno. What the hell just happened? An inferno ripped through the home of South Carolina judge and her Democrat ex-senator husband. Circuit Court Judge Diane Goodstein's home went up in flames around midday, sending plumes of black smoke into the air. And they had to jump from the first floor windows to escape the blaze. Were the 3 illegals working for her? Maybe. And she says, Magoo says, no surprise the retard arguing with you is on Twitch. By the way, illegal immigrants have to learn more about how our government works to become citizens than children in their 12 years of school. Fucking shame, isn't it? It's a shame. I don't think they teach that anymore. They don't want kids to know so that they can be told anything. My kids must learn it in my household. Well, that's good. Yeah, so pointing out legal strategies is targeting to loser lefties, but not calling for constant calls for punching Nazis and shooting ICE. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. All that stuff is fine because Democrats can do it, and it's Arnold Goldstein, along with 2 additional occupants, were rescued by several neighbors and paramedics from a marshy, remote area behind a 3-story home. One person was air evacuated to a medical university of South Carolina. Sources close to Goodstein's family confirmed Arnold was airlifted after breaking multiple bones in his hips and legs and feet after escaping from the 4-bedroom, 4-bath home. Looks like Tommy Boy knocked out Antifa hard KO, and the cops arrested him again. Goodstein, 69, had been walking on the beach with her dog when the flames swallowed the home. The judge, native, was elected to her first judgeship in 1998 and served continuously ever since. Hold on.
Where you live. I don't talk to terrorists.
I served my country. As
An organization, a domestic terrorist organization.
Did you hear that? I served my country as a military guy. I don't believe you. Press X to doubt.
The only one that's on charges out here I see is you. How many DV charges do you have? How many violent charges do you have? Some of them are DV related. You dumb bitch. Leave people alone.
600.
Yeah.
600. You want good content? 6. What comes after 6? 6, 7. I just been right on the hard way. You scared of me, pussy. I'll lick you. Right behind the ear. Right behind the ear.
There's no evidence yet there was arson. They're investigating it. I wanted to see this guy. They said this guy just.
What comes after 6? 6? That's the most extreme thing I've seen.
I can point you to a criminal, Bumblebee, if you're looking for a criminal. Thank you. He literally has several violent charges, including domestic violence. And you got the guy that was helping her and defending her. Your job is irrelevant. If you're not keeping people safe, if you're not protecting and serving, then what are you doing? You're irrelevant. Don't give him a reason. Don't give him a reason. Hey, where you running? You piece of shit! You just hit him!
You got knocked the fuck out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rewind it. I did not see what happened.
Don't give him a reason. Don't give him a reason. Hey, where you running? You piece of shit! You just hit him!
I didn't even see anybody get hit. Did you? This is Portland. I didn't see anybody get hit. Anybody out there, I wouldn't take anything they say as truth. I didn't see anybody get hit. I just saw a bunch of stuff, and I don't know.
Hey, where you running?
I did see a whole bunch of people in black running to the right after this guy fell, but I didn't see a white shirt anywhere. I don't see that guy Tommy, so why would he get arrested?
You piece of shit! You just hit him!
You got knocked the fuck out. You got knocked out hard. Did you hear that? Dude, he hit the ground so hard. I felt it. I felt it hit the ground.
None of them are ENTs. Don't let them touch you.
The ones that would have paid the fuck out.
There's no self-defense. You can't.
We need to get a space. Get up to space, please.
That guy, this guy was nowhere near that guy that fell down. He wasn't there. What the fuck is going on? He wasn't even there.
Move back. Come on. Right? All of them about to lose their fucking jobs. Every single fucking one of you. You fucking disgraced.
Why are you recording a man on the ground? You have more fucking respect for him, you weird bitch. You're protesting peacefully?
Grilled cheese enjoyer super chatted $5.
Let's just go to. Anyway, I don't know. I did not see that guy anywhere near what happened. You have a job to lose it. Yeah, I don't know. I did not see him anywhere near the person that fell down. I saw people in black running the other way. Did they just blame him for it? And they just said, oh, we're going to blame that guy. And the cops just took their word for it. The cops just do what Antifa tells them. Is that how it works? Is that how it works? Cops just do what Antifa tells them? I guess. I guess that's how it works in Portland. Yeah, they should arrest every asshole on the street. That's right. Yeah. Did you see, like I showed it, Gundam Zig, did you see that guy Tommy anywhere near what happened? I did not see a white shirt anywhere there at all. It's on video. He's not anywhere around the guy on the ground. Jim, you are dyslexic too. You have to have a job to lose it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, you're right. I just saw you have a job to lose it. All right. It's late. It's getting late. It's 1:30 in the morning. And I get like and with that we actually completed the first extra hour and we didn't hit the goal. So I think I'm going to call it a night. Or I don't know. Maybe I'll go a little bit longer. Maybe I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Let's see who's live. Quick. Okay. All right. Yeah, make sure you smash that like button and follow the button with the love thumbs up and all that good stuff. Did I? Reloading ammo with Jim on Sunday night. Well, that's cool. I'm glad I can help. So there's that. Let's see. And then there's this right here. Just says SLED is investigating. Yes, SLED. You guys remember SLED from the Murdaugh trial? You guys trust SLED to investigate?
Kevin Whitaker's Chevrolet means business. Let our commercial department go to work and help you find the right vehicle for your business. Come see why Kevin Whitaker is South Carolina's.
What the hell happened? Why does it keep redirecting me?
Carolina Law Enforcement Division is investigating the cause of a massive home fire on Edisto Island that left 3 people injured. The owner being Circuit Court Judge Diane Goodstein. The home is located in the Jeremy K community on Edisto Beach. Colleton County fire officials arrived on the scene to provide medical aid. 2 people were transported to the hospital on the ground. Another was airlifted. We do not yet know if Goldstein was one of those victims or if she was at the home at the time of the fire.
Yeah. Colleton County is the county that whole thing happened with the Murdaugh trial.
There.
Drive into summer in a new Silverado from Kevin Whitaker's Chevrolet. Huge discounts and a great selection of Silverado.
Get out of here with your crap. So, all right. Let's see. Anyway. Ah, fuck it. All right. All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody who was here. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe. I'll see y'all again Monday night. We're going to do shows. I'm going to try to do shows every night this week. We'll see whatever. You remember Courthouse Becky? Yeah, Courthouse Becky. Yeah, that's the same area where this happened. So who knows? Maybe this judge is involved in some shady shit there too. Maybe there's some shady shit going on. That place isn't corrupt at all. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm going to send you guys over to talk to this guy, Dark Gift. He's doing some kind of stream where he's smoking and talking, token talk or something. Tell him I said hello. Culture, news, or music? Oh, you pick. You pick. All right. Thanks, everybody.